Welcome back, everyone. Oh man, we're gonna get used to this someday. Welcome to Stories to D4. We're so happy to have you back for session 7. We only have a couple of announcements before we get started, but grab a drink, sit down, and let's get into things. First off, thank you everyone who's been following us on the various platforms and the social medias and the clicking the notifications, and you all understand the idea. But as a reiteration from this last footnotes, I'm really excited to say we have a public Discord now. You can find that in the link on our Twitch, and it should be on our YouTube soon. So please come join us. We talk about games and maybe put some behind the scenes stuff there as well. Additionally, I just wanted to, I think we're a couple away. It's not on this screen, but you're gonna be seeing it later. We're very close to our next sub goal. We're super excited to show you some of the new emotes that we got created. Those are also posted as well on our Twitter. Now, does anyone have any more announcements before I get started with the recap? No?
We're level 20 now?
You are still not 20th level, sadly enough. In that case,
10 then.
let's talk about where we were last time.
I'll take 10.
You'll take 10?
I'll take
That's so gracious. You know what? How about this?
The first?
Before you were all level 3? Is that
It's
correct?
gonna take them away.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm level 10.
So
now.
if you're all
You
level
have it on your
3,
sheet,
we
right?
could simply siphon off, let's say, 2 levels from El, you're 5. 2 levels from Ismini, you're 7.
Why does Thorn get my levels?
You know what? 1 level from Silas, you're 8, and then 2 levels from Gwynwyn.
Yeah, I'll take it.
That's pretty healthy,
Yeah.
actually.
That's a fair trade.
Honestly, yeah, we really want to encourage D&D just being a big boys club. That's what we want going on here.
If I take
Good, we have, I didn't know we were in full frame. Clawless Face is exactly what I was going for. No, I was lying. We stand girl bosses here. Moving on.
Is this campaign not titled Gatekeep Girl Boss Gaslight?
No.
That's the wrong order. but-
Last time on Stories to D4, the Kappleberry Caravan continued their adventures in the small village of Walnut Hill. There they had encountered a strange undead creature named Sulo. Sulo was a villager who had lived in the big city and came home to stay with his family, but unfortunately had perished quite a bit before his journey. Some sort of dark magic had caused him to... You good, Jake?
No.
Some sort of dark magic had animated him, and it appeared that a collection of brigands had come to investigate and kidnap him, possibly returning them to whatever fell master they served. The party fought off the bandits at the actual home of Sulo, and then drove them back, after a bit of rest, chasing them down to a small cave at the edge of town. In the cave, they had defeated its gate guardian, a massive Goliath, boiling in rage before they deceived him and had him go fight against his own companions. It is here that we find our heroes having defeated the majority, but not all, of the remaining bandits. We're gonna kind of dive back into where we were before, this sort of dank cave, filled with this, the smell of blood, this musty water as the mildew of whatever little bit of runoff has come through these caves and just stood still in the ick here. If we can get everybody in the music. You all are here within this battle. We're gonna be rolling initiative once more from last time. And just as we're rolling for initiative, let me give you a quick recap as where everyone is in this Theater of the Mind encounter. Silas and Alilier, the pair of you have engaged this mighty hobgoblin, a dark red-skinned, angry, sort of orcish-like figure, massive muscles, furious, spitting fury here, with a long sword that you've noticed has this strange, thin sheen of a sort of greenish ichor along its edge. But we're probably fine. Ismini and Gwynwyn, the two of you have established some space. You're back. No antagonist directly near you. You're pretty safe. The only thing that's close to you is that hobgoblin. But that hobgoblin is currently held by the trunk of Silas. Additionally, past your allies, looking way down this hallway in the recently revealed secret room, you see one skeleton wrapped in this thick Icarus web that Thorn had created, as well as the master of this group of bandits. Seemingly some sort of mage, spellbook still in hand, cursing under his breath as he attempts to wrest himself free from the web. Let's go into those initiative rolls. This time making sure to leave space for Amanda. As a reminder, you do know the name of the hobgoblin. It is Carguts.
My nemesis. No, Carguts is not my nemesis.
Additionally, there are 2 other living individuals nearby that I want to note, though they're not currently threats. You have one bandit who, due to the cantrip of Gwynwyn, is currently on death saves as acid slowly eats through his leather armor, his shirt, and he's in death saves. He's definitely on death's door. Additionally, probably about 150 pounds of purple lizard is asleep on its back. Now that is going to be closer to where Gwynwyn and Ismini and Thorn are, but it's asleep. Don't do damage. You understand the basics of this magic. Don't hurt it. You should be fine. Making sure I have everything here. You also have learned that the wizard's name was Orwyn. All right, Thorn?
I got a 14.
14, very good. Silas?
11.
Gwynwyn?
Also an 11.
How many ties are you going to do? Your dex modifier is 2, yours is
1.
1, perfect. Gwynwyn? Then moving around the table is Meanie.
9.
A 9 for Ismini and Ililie.
18.
Okay.
Got good legs.
Now, Elle, we ended the last session at the end of a round, which is why we're re-rolling initiative, because it doesn't cause too much of an issue here. Elle, in front of you is this mostly uninjured hobgoblin you encountered last week. His companion pet, that bestial lizard that you encountered last week, is unconscious and more than 20 feet behind you. So you've got this very clear safety. So essentially, it's you, the hobgoblin, and way past the hobgoblin, about 50 feet, roughly 50 feet down the hall, is the leader of this group, as well as a skeletal companion. What would you like to do, Elle?
Because I'm right next to Hobgoblin, I want to focus on Kurguts.
Okay.
So I'm going to swing around so I'm flanking. Can we still do that in theater?
Yes, absolutely. That's totally fine. And I would like to remind you that you did actually have a weapon burst active when our last session ended.
And I have a count for how many things I have left.
Perfect.
Cool.
All right.
Or how many things I've used. We've used 2 rounds of it.
Perfect.
So I'm going to swing my sword.
Get your 1 attack with advantage. Silas, you holding him down. You see Elle flips around, getting to the other side. What is that to hit?
A 16.
16 is going to unfortunately miss against Carguts. You did learn last time he is wearing splint armor and has an AC of 17.
Cool. Well, I don't really have a bonus action to use here, so I'm good.
Elle, that is the end of your turn. It is actually going to be Cargut's turn. Cargut's kind of infuriated. He's been sputtering in Goblin, which I don't believe we determined none of you speak last time. Kind of in this angry, not fully grammatically correct common, kind of starts looking around at this trunk that has grabbed him, and the people who flanked him just, no honor! He's going to make a swing against Silas with his first attack. That is a natty 1. And make his second swing. I'm going to replace his second attack, and I'm going to attempt a shove. So it realistically is actually attempting to break the grapple.
Yeah.
But essentially it's him grabbing with his offhand and trying to push your trunk off, freeing himself from your motion here. That could be successful. 21.
Oh, yeah.
It's an athletics or acrobatics check, my friend.
It's a 20. He beats it.
Okay. He's going to kind of shove off. Now he's still in the same space and he is a little bit cramped. You all had caught him in a sort of choke point. Stalagmite on one side, hard cavernous wall on the other. Yeah. Stalagmite. It's the bottom one.
Don't need to know everything. Like, I don't personally.
True. I try to not know as much as possible. Now, he's not going to move because he is in quite a bit of a dangerous situation. Those were both of his attacks. He doesn't really have much on a bonus action, so he's unfortunately going to stay where he is. Moving down the initiative order, Thorn, you're next. Gwynwyn, you're after him.
I'm gonna go ahead and cast Mind Sliver on the mage.
Okay, the mage is restrained, which that doesn't impact him too much here, but he is going to make, I believe, an intelligence saving throw.
Yeah.
Okay, he's pretty smart. Now, I'll tell you this, he has a +6 to his intelligence saving throws.
Dang.
For a math 10.
That's a fail.
That is a fail.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll damage for me.
It's 5 psychic, and he has a
a green sliver appearing at your temple once more.
He has a -1 to the next saving throw he makes.
5 points of psychic damage against Orwyn. Orwyn, you hear him just once again this seething, like he's just like gritting his teeth as this pain, the psychic energy runs through his mind. Thorn, is there anything else in your turn?
Just to clarify, it's the skeleton, the mage, and then the Kurguts.
Those are all the conscious enemies.
Okay.
Technically speaking, there are 2 more still living enemies, both of which have been effectively removed. It would take you all actively adding them into the combat to have those 2 cause things.
Okay.
You also haven't noticed like an active healer here. It does not appear that there's a cleric or divine caster among their ranks.
And I can take some... actually, no, I'm good. That's my turn.
Additionally, for those of you who may not remember, Sulo, you had further back in the cave. So he is in the cave. You saw Jared leave a while ago. But we'll probably handle that later.
Great.
Moving down, Gwyn, when it's your turn, Silas, you're immediately afterwards.
Gwynwyn's going to attack Kurguts? 'Cause
Yes,
She's going to lob a firebolt at him.
absolutely.
23.
23 is going to hit. You toss. He gets a little bit free from your friend and is immediately struck by a bolt of flame.
10 points of fire
10
damage.
points of fire damage. Now, last session he did take a little bit of damage. He's looking pretty hurt. You can tell everything you've been doing has been pretty effective. He doesn't seem very magical. Just a tough guy. And if I recall, you both have a fair bit of experience against hobgoblins. Is that not correct?
No.
They exist, and therefore we fought.
All right. Gwyn, was that it for your turn?
Yeah, that's going to be it for Gwynwyn's
Okay.
turn.
That is going to then be Silas's turn. Silas,
I haven't learned my lesson. I'm gonna try and hit it.
you have advantage on this roll.
Don't jinx it.
Good. I'm finding the dice.
Dude, come on.
I have.
My DM magic worked.
Dude.
Did Jazz sit on his dice?
That was the problem.
It's a 9.
You lift up your hammer, striking down with one hand, but you see as he kind of puts his offhand, kind of pushing your shield out of the way, knocking you a bit off balance. Unfortunately, that's going to be a miss. Silas, you staying engaged with him?
As engaged as I can be in these moments.
All right. Moving on, Ismini, you're the next player. Elle, you're at the top of the round, a little bit before you, but you're next.
Should we worry about Jared?
Yeah, go no for him.
Jared was exceptionally injured, as a quick reminder.
Probably isn't gonna go after the zombie.
Yes, I don't actually mind
Generally-
telling you, Jared has 11 hit points.
Oh, I can kill him. Okay, I'm clear.
Knock him
Well,
out.
Everyone needs a nemesis every once in a while.
I don't like
As a treat.
I don't like the wizard, and you kind of did set me up for this, so I'm gonna ask for the wizard to make a wisdom saving throw.
Ooh! You know what I add to these? I had 1 to this.
-1, so nothing.
Nothing.
That is a 15.
I end my turn.
Oh! Now, I do ask, as you begin uttering these magical words, what are you casting?
Toll the dead. I'm jingle jangling
Ah!
again. That's my
Once again,
only
this loud ringing echoing
Feel
through.
you on
The magic from this. Now, I'm curious.
Yeah.
The sound itself, is this sound, and this is something that's just your decision here, is this sound real, or is it so, for example, would we be seeing little bits of dirt and rock begin falling from the ceiling here? Just gently, this is flavor dirt.
No. So for everybody around me, it's just
Flavor dirt.
gentle bell tingling sounds tinkling in the air.
Unless you're the target.
Unless you're the target, in which case it is full. You're
I
inside of
love
the top
that.
of the church, and the bell is going back and forth.
Cool. If you,
Yeah.
maybe we'll think about that later, and we might talk about some performance in a future sort of scenario.
I couldn't help myself. I did have to slightly have something musical about me.
It is Orwyn's turn. It is Orwyn's turn. Elle, you're next. Orwyn and the skeleton are both restrained by the web. The skeleton, very, very stupid, is going to attempt to break out. It's going to. The skeleton does not have any ranged weapons. It's going to try to use what it can, kind of pushing out with its little gangly bone fingers. It's going to attempt that check. Oof, that is a natty 4. You watch as the skeleton kind of trying to just teeth clacking together as it tries to get out of the web. It only gets itself locked in tighter. One of its limbs kind of wrapping around in an unnatural angle behind itself. Orwyn, for his action, Orwyn's gonna begin casting a spell.
I can't do anything.
Oh, I know.
You know what level we are.
Oh, I do.
You do this on purpose.
Wait, actually.
But however, I am
have
gonna
something
ask-
on my sheet that says I can do counterspell whenever I want.
Who gave you this sheet? What is this?
You did.
Counterfeit sheets. Counterfeit. However,
Sorry.
I would like to ask everyone who the ability to I'm gonna ask Gwynwyn, L, and his meanie to make me very quick Arcana checks. I'm not consuming your reaction for this.
It's fine. We exist.
You watch, he begins muttering a series of words, which you heard previously in a different voice. As he does, he kind of reaches out, his hands like not perfectly pointing out towards the party, all of which has, depending on which one we're talking about, small bits of cover. You watch as for a moment, 3 tiny beads of light appear at the tips of his fingers. 2 of them dissipate, and a single scorching ray emerges. What are your results in your die rolls?
Math
For your Arcana?
20.
Math 20.
10.
Not 20 for 25.
For 25. What you would identify is that the spell, what it looked like the spell was almost canceled, but it clearly he wasn't trying to cancel the spell. With a 25, what I can tell you is that as he begins casting this spell, whatever the font of magic he's drawing from starts to dissipate. It's only a single ray. Now I will let you know that Scorching Ray itself is an attack roll, and he is restrained, so this is with disadvantage. Firing outwards, you watch Gwynwyn, the bead flies towards you and shatters against some of the stonework as he once again gets himself a little bit more stuck. He is not having the best time here. And it appears that something's wrong with his magic. Moving to the top of the round, Elle, you're first. Thorn, your next player.
I decided that I am a smart cookie. Kurguts is wearing metal, right?
Karguts is wearing metal.
Cool.
Additionally, I'd like to remind everybody that the web is not just affecting the skeleton and Orwyn, but the entire room is coated in that web. Which is that web concentration?
Is that what
Yes.
flammable?
It is flammable. It's very dangerous, and there's also stuff in that room as a reminder, including a wooden table with a cauldron on it.
Okay.
Elle, if you don't mind holding off for just a second, Victoria had a question.
What round of combat is this?
This is technically round 7. Oh, excuse me, round 8.
We need to finish fast because that lizard's gonna wake up. 10 rounds.
That was round 1, wasn't
Yes,
it?
10 rounds.
Nope. Fresh.
As a reminder, melee attacks against unconscious opponents are with advantage, and if they hit, are critical hits.
Great. Somebody hit it.
Probably not Silas. Don't look at me.
Oh, my mom is calling, and I will call you back very soon. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Matthew's mom.
All right. Elle, yes, he's wearing metal. I believe I know what you're going for, but why don't you explain it to me?
This is kind of one more question first. From experience so far, do I know if using lightning damage is more just easier to do to someone wearing metal, or has it been more like, wow, it really hurts people?
So shocking,
Yeah.
in universe, out of universe.
Yeah.
First of all, when you're casting shocking grasp, the normal way, your hand gets filled with this vortex of lightning that's kind of sparking around. Some of it will occasionally leave small singe marks on your skin.
I'm wearing a conductor on my
You
wrist,
are.
yeah.
It'll actually help you because it'll just kind of catch.
Yeah.
But when you reach towards a person wearing metal, there's an electromagnetic attraction that helps you strike. The advantage roll there is that spell itself does that. It's not more damage, it's you're more likely to connect because lightning hurts people. Additionally, as I was mentioning before, all of the damage you've done against Karguts has seemed effective thus far. The only weird damage oddity you've noticed is skeletons don't like bludgeoning damage. It's very good. It's effective against them.
Cool. I don't want to drop my weapon, and I'm out of spell slots.
Okay.
So, and I don't have AP points.
Okay.
So I'm actually just going to swing again, I think.
You can do either one
You still
without
have
dropping a weapon.
Cool. Okay, yeah. Then
Whatever
I'm
you
going
wanna
to
do.
do a melee spell attack.
Perfect.
So I'm gonna reach for the guy.
All right. Fighting for a while. This is technically double advantage here. Good job. It doesn't give you any mechanical advantage, but she reaches out, try to place her hand across him.
This is 16 again.
A 16 is unfortunately a miss. As you're bringing this up, you see that he kind of takes some of this magnetic energy you have going on, brings his blade up, it's stabbing it into the ground. You watch the sparks feather down the blade and dissipate along the stonework. For a moment, briefly illuminating the room more than just the torch that you dropped last session. Anything else in your turn, Elle?
Sorry. Where I am, can I just shift possibly without like stepping out of his reach?
Yes, but he will lose flanking.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna hit anyways.
No. I'll stay in flanking then.
Okay.
Cool.
We're gonna keep moving on.
I
That
gave
is
you new dice.
that is Kargut's turn.
There's.
Kargut's having a bad time. There's a lot of
He
enemies
should
here.
be having a good
Seemed
time.
like
We
it.
can't hit him.
He could just offer to pay us off and we let him go. Just not out
Do
there.
I have things that have
Silas
saves?
would let him go?
No, but I'm broke and we could figure it out.
I've got 2 attacks. I'm going to continue the trend from last session, or from last round. I'm going to attempt to shove Silas, clearing myself a path out towards the. Now, you would know it took you almost a minute and a half to get to this point. He'd be sprinting for a while to get out of the cave, but he's going to try to push over Silas with his first roll. 12 on athletics check.
8.
Use my dice.
Okay.
It was
Silas, you are shoved prone, and you feel almost immediately a boot on your chest as he attempts to move over you. It will. Ooh. Do you need to interrupt before Elle and Silas's reactions?
Oh no, I also have a reaction.
Beautiful. Okay. Elle, this will provoke. Ismini, what do you have going on here?
Also provoke.
You weren't in melee range of him, or he would have been attacking you.
No, he's gonna have to run past me.
Oh yes. That'll happen last.
Later,
Yes, because
yeah.
you're protecting the exit.
Yep.
Elle, it provokes from you first as he steps onto Silas. You're not sure how far he's gonna go, but he's got his blade high.
Do I still have advantage?
So he's not flanked. He's prone.
Yeah,
We don't
the
use it
answer
that way.
can be
The answer is
just
no
making
for this
sure.
one.
Cool. Please don't roll an 11. I do not hit.
Okay.
Sorry.
As he steps over you, Silas, he takes a moment kind of looking down, smiles. You've seen this before. As huts burned in the outer recesses of your home, you saw this same sort of grin from hobgoblins then.
not a nice guy. Oh.
Got sword still on his shoulder. He's gonna keep moving. Now this will provoke first from Silas. You would have disadvantage as you are prone, but you are able to use your reaction if you would like to.
Can I replace an attack with grapple? Grabbing his leg? Before he
Yes,
falls off?
I'm going to give you that same disadvantage as before, as you sort of, like a serpent, like a serpent, you come over and you wrap around his leg.
I didn't need that image.
Oh no! The betrayal!
Oh, nice.
Oh, for once, 18.
With an 18, stopping at the square just past you, you have his leg. Wrapped up around his leg is this mighty gray trunk. Your trunk near the base is it's considerably wider than a normal person's arm. It's a massive, muscular thing.
Yeah.
You had a big head.
For
That is
the-
unfortunately going to stop him
Right.
from provoking.
Too bad.
Unfortunate. He does still have his other attack. Did you have something else you wanted to ask before that?
Was that the orange die?
That was the orange die. I rolled a natural 1.
Nice.
However, now I'm going to make my attack roll with advantage against Silas as he's grappled. Now, this is a flavor, but you can tell what he's aiming for as he tries to free himself.
Oh, yeah, Trunky.
It's a 6 on the die and a 3 on the die. Those are both misses. As he brings this down, how do you want to catch this? How are you catching the blade?
I sneezed. It just moved at the wrong time, the wrong way.
Staggers a bit as you sneeze.
Such a bad position.
It's awful. You've got him. He's tugging on your face, and your face is winning the strength contest. Furious, this angry hobgoblin. He's not threatening anyone else, though. If you guys want your turn, want to move in, you'll be able to. That is then going to be Thorn's turn. Gwen, you're on deck.
Seeing this crazy struggle with Silas and even Elle, I'm gonna cast Mind Sliver on this guy.
Okay. It's an intelligence check.
Yeah.
A saving throw.
Yeah.
That's a 7.
He does not succeed. Oops.
I will do something real quick.
Sure.
I am going to use a feature of his. For a moment, the spell begins to take effect, and you watch as him kind of looking around for a moment. And nothing changes.
Okay. 3 points of psychic damage.
3 more points of psychic damage.
And -1 to the next saving throw.
Sweet. Okay.
And
He is past bloodied, for those of you who were tracking, quite injured.
I'm gonna turn to Win-Win and say, webs are flammable. Light it up.
Amazing. Gwynwyn,
Well, Gwynwood just found out some great advice, so she's gonna lob a firebolt at the webs.
okay. So I will let you know this. You have two options. I'm gonna give you two different options here. Firebolt, we've always described it being like a smaller than a baseball. That's kind of consistent with the fiction you've been feeling?
Yeah.
I'll give you two options. You can target the webs. Webs are really easy to hit. I believe they're AC 10, but you basically can't miss them. Or if you'd like to target one of the creatures in the webs, I would allow you to, you'll make 2 attack rolls. There's a one-time ruling. The first against the person, the second with disadvantage against the web.
Okay, I'll
Do
do
you like
that.
that? Great.
Yeah. I'll hit Orwyn. I'll hit the wizard.
You want to hit the wizard? He
Yeah.
wouldn't appreciate it.
So first, roll
Yes.
once normally against him.
Get the web rules up so we know how this part
15?
works. 15 against Orwyn?
Yes.
15 against Orwyn is exactly his armor class.
Nice.
Mage armor. His dex is +3.
So L doesn't know that. So.
No, that's fine. No, but you would see if you've been striking him, there's been small flashes of magical sparks.
And then-
Roll to hit with disadvantage against the web real quick for me.
19.
19 super hits the web. So as you strike, as it hits against him, kind of dissipating some of the mage armor, it burns around and the flame begins to spread. Now, do you want to illuminate how fire works with web for us?
Yeah. Webs are flammable. Any 5-foot cube of webs exposed to fire burns away in 1 round, dealing 2d4 fire damage to any creature that starts its turn in the fire.
Okay. Please remind me. This is going. I'm gonna have her get to roll the damage. For that one, is that okay?
Yeah, totally.
So at the start of Orwyn's turn, roll that 2d4.
And then do you want me to roll the firebolt damage as well?
The firebolt damage for him I need now, though. Yes.
3 points of fire.
Plus 3 points of fire damage. All of that is very effective. Gwynwyn, I believe that's the end of your turn.
Gwynwyn's gonna go move over as far as she can, closer to the entrance of the cave.
Okay, you begin moving. I will say that will put you quite close to the lizard. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. This awful slumbering monster. Not as majestic as a dragon, but admittedly less terrifying. That is then going to be Silas. It is your turn. Ismini, you're next.
This is an awkward position.
You are currently now. Your trunk is. You can loosen partially to stand up. Flavor grab him with a hand and pull yourself up. You're mechanically able to still stand with half your movement.
Oh yeah, I'll still stand with half my movement. I have little to no confidence in swinging at this point, but we're gonna try it. If he's half bloodied, I don't know how much HP he has.
He's
but
hurt.
I want to point out non-lethal.
Yeah.
Just in case. Super doubt that's gonna be an issue, but here we go. Natural 1, so 5.
God.
It's just for swings. I've had fine
You
rolls
had,
outside of
absolutely. Additionally, are you putting yourself between him and the exit again?
So the exit is past the stalagmite, right?
It's past. It's right now behind you is the wizard. In front of you is the hobgoblin.
Yeah.
Great.
If I can interject.
Perfect. You interpose that way, which will give it space for L later. Is then going to move on to Ismini's turn. Ismini, this hobgoblin's really durable, and that lizard's about to wake up. What would you like to do?
I'm not worried about either one of those things. the book.
The book is on fire.
I'm so mad.
Yeah.
Run to the book.
Fire is beginning to spread throughout the room.
Run to
Do
the
you want to give me? So would you like to start heading that direction? You can get. You have to walk past Karguts.
I'd have to Misty Step. I want that book.
Are you going to use your Misty Step for this?
I've already used 2 of them. I have it prepared. You guys are burning my spells. Those are my spells now.
We don't want to die.
He's not doing anything.
Arson is only sometimes the answer.
Arson is always the
He's
answer.
not doing anything.
I
He's
needed
just
mo-
in a room. I don't
Look,
know
that
what
book
to.
is ticking. You gotta go now.
All right, Ismini, I want to know what you're doing in this turn. There are 3 threats, but
It's-
very soon to be 4.
It hasn't even been around yet. It's probably just like the preamble that's burned. It's fine.
I don't want
Books
to.
It's
can't
his
burn
diary
before
entry.
450
This
degrees.
spellbook belongs
That's
to.
Exactly.
This is novella.
Well, I guess what I have to do is just. Oh, you're next to him, Silas. Damn you.
Hit it with a knife. I don't mind.
Great. I'm gonna hit him with a. Right. I'm gonna hit Kargatz with a nice knife.
He's turned, starts facing you, then Silas gets between the two of you again. You lean over to the side, throwing the knife.
24.
That'll super hit.
You make a deck save. I hit you.
Where's my dice? I stopped the
I think those are D8s.
Oh, they are. You're right.
Oh my god, 2
Let's see.
damage.
2 damage. Unfortunately, he is
You pass.
still up.
14th passes.
Matches you pass. Yeah.
Yeah, matches you pass. You take no damage.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, that sucks.
Is that it for your turn, Ismini? Amanda, it is Orwyn's turn after this.
I'm so upset. Yes. that's
Okay.
my turn. 3 points of fire damage.
3 points of fire damage. Additionally, what does it spread? It'll spread on. I'm actually gonna, because it's convenient for Theater of Mind, it's gonna spread on my turn. So you watch as it begins to move out forwards.
Yeah, it just says any 5-foot cube exposed to fire burns away in 1 round.
Right, okay. So it's gonna go out 1 more square. Next round, if the skeleton's still alive, the skeleton will be engulfed in flames. Speaking of skeletons, skeleton's gonna try to break out of the web. Natty 2, not doing great with those dice rolls. It is Orwyn's turn.
Working great.
Orwyn's having a terrible, terrible day. Enough of this! And is going to begin casting another spell. This one seemingly working appropriately. He watches a trio of magic missiles going to fire out. Seeing what's going on, 2 at Gwynwyn, 1 at Silas. Minimum damage, so it's 2 for Silas, 4 for Gwynwyn, as these magical darts fly true, pulsing through the air and strike each of you, almost knocking the wind out of you. But that's it for his turn.
I'm bloodied.
Oh, blood is terrible. You're gonna spit up a little bit of blood from your trunk, getting it on his pants. Oh, it's dreadful.
I need that damage.
Let's go to the top of the round. This is the belief. Now, I think I have 1 more round before Beast wakes up.
Right.
By the way, his name is Beast. We're gonna go
I am
to L. You have a flankable hobgoblin in front of you. You have an unconscious lizard nearby, and you also have a slowly engulfing in flames room ahead.
Did he? I'm gonna do what Victoria did last session and be the kid that was like, we had homework. Did he go last round?
Karguts?
Yeah.
Yes, that's why he got grappled.
Awesome. I just was like,
No, it is okay. Whenever doing Theater of the Mind, it's
Yeah.
and actually just in general, it's always okay. And for those of you at home, it's okay to ask. You know, hey, I think something might have been missed. Can we roll back? Because we'll do it to benefit you guys. Sometimes I'm gonna forget things.
He stabbed the lizard.
no, please. The lizard? The sleeping lizard?
It's
eat
gonna
us.
wake up and then us not have hit it.
I'm in. I can't stab the lizard because I'm in melee with the
You're not
person.
in melee with him right
He
now.
moved
He moved away some, so you could get to the lizard, or you could get to all four of the things we've talked about here if you wanted to. Though the ones in web would be quite difficult, as
Yeah.
there's burning web going on.
Yeah, I'm not having great luck trying to whack Kurguts anyway, so I am going to move to the lizard. And I'm gonna go, I don't like this, but okay, and I'm going to swing my sword non-lethally.
That's absolutely fine. Roll with advantage. I will tell you, it's got a very low AC, but if you hit, it's an automatic critical hit.
17.
That is absolutely a hit. Go ahead and roll damage. Roll that twice your damage dice.
Including weapon burst.
Yep.
It's just fire damage, for the record. Or, sorry,
I thought you said it was cold damage.
Cold damage. My apologies. 9 piercing. 5 cold.
It is immediately bloodied by that damage, and as you strike it, it's prone. You take your weapon and you do slash it, but rather than going like across its neck. You take it across the side, ripping through some of the scales, injuring it, maybe trying to scare it away. It wakes up. Elle, is there anything else in your turn?
I don't have any wolf's will on me because I'm a silly person that didn't take any.
Okay.
So I'm
It's
good.
going to be Kargut's and Beast's turn then. Let's start with Beast. I've been really excited to roll an attack roll with this.
I have really low HP. Just
I'm
by
going
the
to
way.
roll I'm going to roll a D5. Because this is a lizard. It's not currently being commanded. And it was asleep and does not. Now, most likely it's going to hit her. Elle, I'm going to actually roll. So I'm going to roll this with a D6. Effectively, what I'm going to do is you have two options. Everyone else has an equal one. Silas, you had a question?
Oh, never mind. I was just gonna ask.
Oh, perfect. No questions were needed here. Because Elle, it stands up and is going to make its singular bite attack at you. That is a 6 on the die. As it opens its mouth, you watch as there's this drooling, bubbling purple liquid as it tries to snap its jaws at you, and you can tell its bites are toxic. But it misses you narrowly. You're able to dodge it out of the way. That's going to be Kargut's. Kargut's still wrapped up, furious, turns back to you. Let's go, freak.
You're about to talk.
17. 17.
I don't think that hits.
As he keeps striking against you. You can see he's getting tired.
I've been tried to be hit with this for like 10 or 20 minutes in the fight now. Can I just see what that liquid is? I've dealt with her.
It looks
acid.
like the remnants. So on your turn, if you want to make some investigation or you want to look into this a little more, but you can tell it's it's a residue. It doesn't seem like it's doing anything. It looks like he maybe normally applies something to his weapon and maybe he hasn't had a chance because you all ambushed him as a reminder. You had a surprise round. Okay. That is then going to be Thorn's turn. Gwynwyn, you're next.
So,
Lit-
Mage Boy is...
Mage Boy's very hurt.
no longer restrained, though, right?
He is no longer restrained.
All right, I'm going to Mind Sliver him again.
He is, I will tell you something. Beyond the theater of the mind, it would be inappropriate for me not to. He is within 5 feet of Burning Web,
Okay.
is what I should mention. That is a 15, actually, on the intelligence saving throw.
That's a save.
There's no damage for that?
No damage.
No damage. As you reach out, there's almost this like concussive effect as you're repelled from his mind.
Is he 60 feet away?
You could easily get within 60 feet of him.
I have to get within 60 feet of him, or is he 60 feet?
You can get within 60 feet of him, still maintaining cover without getting in melee of things.
Okay. I'll move closer and then shove him into the fire.
I subtract 1 from my strength for a 14.
That's a pass.
So he's not moved.
No.
You push him back for a moment as he kind of leans back and is able to pull himself like now that you're kind of looking around, you see the fire continues to spread throughout the room. The corner of one of this table now has a small lick of flames on it, but so far the bookshelf on the far side is unaffected.
On the far side is unaffected.
I know, I'm so mad.
It's actually all spell books.
If you wanted to miss
We're then going to move. It's going to be Gwynwyn, then Silas.
It's just his like porno collection. It's fine.
Is the lizard and Carbach, Beast and Carbach, in a 30-foot line of Gwynwyn?
Straight.
Yes, if you're willing to get into melee range of Kargut's.
Sure, why not?
You take those reasonably long legs and can kind of start waddling over. Is waddling a rude word to say to a dwarf?
Yes.
Yeah.
As you,
It's a microaggression.
it's
Macro. That's macro.
I'm so sorry. But you make your way across the battlefield, get next to Kargut's. What happens?
I'm casting Tasha's Caustic Brew.
You pull out this strange, kind of thicker ichor. This one a little bit more orange, I believe. It's a slightly different color, and it starts changing and shifting in the bottle, and it jettisons outwards this thick sludge. Dex saves?
Dex saves.
Lizard first. 17.
That passes.
Kargut's super fails. Do you take anything on a success?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. How much damage is Kargut's taking?
It's 2d4 acid damage until they get it off of them.
Incredible.
They have to take an action to get it off.
Incredible.
Does it smell like
2d4, sorry, 2d4.
Does it smell like your pumpkin spice from the other day?
No,
It
it's
absolutely
rotten
doesn't.
food.
It is terrible. It is
what you
the
did
smell of burning goblin.
Just battery acid.
I thought it was
Pumpkins. You can have a hint of pumpkin.
I thought it was the poison
Right.
spice before.
It's battery acid with pumpkin spice.
Can I have that
Oh, give me
damage?
that poison
Burning
first.
pumpkin spice.
Is 2 points of acid damage, and it's for a full minute or until they take it off.
Oh
That didn't hit
Such a
Silas
fun
first,
like
did
rain.
no! It did not. But it's Silas. It is your turn.
It's an interesting spell.
Silas.
I don't like that it's near my nose.
He's panicking, struggling. His friend is still on the floor. The acid now having run off the side. You'll have to inspect him later to see how he's doing.
Okay, well, apparently rolling to hit is not really...
I believe in you.
You see
One
what
sec.
you do? Oh, God. Oh, God.
That's my good die, or
No,
one of
it's-
them.
you just
I will
jinxed it,
keep
Carla.
throwing d20s at you.
We're not a game store. We're gonna run out.
I have a
Actually, we'll
d20.
never run out. 7. 3 on the die.
I'm trying so hard. I'm trying
I
so
have not
hard.
rolled above like a 5.
You
for
can't.
rolls.
You
haven't
cannot
rolled
roll.
double digits at
Rolling
all.
is not something that you're built for. I built my character for not rolling dice.
But Jake and Dice Jail.
Yeah, I think
It's
Jake
me.
should go to death
Look,
jail.
if it's an attack,
The lizard
everything
is
else-
up?
Everything else
Yeah.
is fine.
Wait, actually, if I understand correctly, what I was hearing about the web is that it burns, and then the next round, what was burning is no longer burning.
Yeah.
Which means that there should be a blank space of no fire next to the wizard.
Yes.
Correct.
Fantastic. Okay.
She's gonna get a book.
So I cast Misty Step.
He kind of looks baffled to see you all of a
attacked
sudden.
him first.
He's so hurt.
um.
What are you doing to this poor, poor man?
So if I were okay, I'm not a melee combatant. I have no strength.
You do have a dagger.
I do have a dagger. I'm gonna shank him.
Oh
Nice.
Are you stabbing him non-lethally?
Who am I?
no! Yes.
It's really hard
yes?
to stab
That's an
non-lethal.
L.
Or no.
Think about
Okay.
it.
Or no.
Truly,
What are
though,
you? I will say you are in line of sight of L. What are you doing?
I am non-lethally stabbing somebody.
Okay.
I don't care if you kill someone, by the way.
We need him alive.
Okay.
How many people has Goodwin murdered already?
No. 8.
You.
I'm actually good at stabbing.
The sparks fly as your dagger collides with his magical abjurations. That's gonna be Orwyn and the skeleton's turn.
Great, I'm hanging out with him now.
Yeah.
Skeleton.
Party.
Skeleton fails
I
his
know
saving throw, so I will let you know this will mean he's gonna take that fire damage on the next turn. For my convenience, can you go ahead and roll that damage now?
7.
Nice.
Over the course of the next 6 seconds, it begins to burn and fades away. I will let you know that that you are aware that no one is currently embroiled in your web at the moment.
Cool.
It is Orwyn's turn.
By design.
Orwyn is panicking. You do not know with what dark powers you toil. Then he coughs for a moment, and you hear just this other voice underneath.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Rebel scum.
As he begins to cast a spell, you see a bead of flame begin to charge into his hand.
I can't do anything about it.
Yugi, don't you know? Sorry.
Silly Yugi! No, you watch as he begins to cast the spell Fireball.
Oh, we're fine.
And the spell fails.
Oh, goodness gracious. Does that mean...
Additionally, I have to ask, who is carrying the Iron Cobra?
You left it on the ground. I don't think any
It's
of
still
us
on the
picked it up.
ground.
Oh, I thought someone had picked it up.
Oh wait, from outside?
No.
No.
You guys made it in here.
We met it in here.
Silas, you're near it. You would see for a moment the Cobra flipped over and then became inert again.
Oh my god.
That's Orwyn's turn. It takes an action for him to make that attempt. Elle, it is your turn.
You know, swinging my weapon has not really worked well for me.
You have hit all but once. You've done the most damage, it seems like, besides maybe Gwynwyn, because Gwynwyn.
It's a murder machine.
You've
Fire.
been very effective.
I'm going to non-lethally whack the the wizard, the lizard, like this time.
Yeah.
I'm in melee with it. It makes
Right.
sense.
You take your blade, try to pin it down, and knee it in the face. Animal kindness.
I'm like, I have this one, guys. Don't worry about me.
Make your attack roll.
And I'm gonna do that. Cool. I don't think a 9 is gonna hit.
A 9 misses.
Yeah.
Sometimes your players can't roll dice.
I feel like it's Jake. like,
It's Jake's fault.
Have I hit this one round? Or this
you
You've
haven't
not
hit
hit
like
today.
2 sessions.
Not in combat at all.
You didn't hit last time either.
No.
Yeah.
It's-
I hit
it's-
No, I didn't hit outside.
Now, I will admit, Karguts has a high AC,
You hit outside.
but everything else has had pretty low AC.
I've only swung at Karguts, but it's not been above 5, so that doesn't matter.
It's Karguts' turn. Karguts
Takes 5 points of acid damage.
takes 5 points of acid damage.
You should get
Good
that
spell.
off. You should wipe that off. Forget about
And
strong
falls
damage.
unconscious. Ah! Collapses to the ground.
Oh boy.
Oh god, is he gonna continue to take that since he can't get
Unless someone uses an action to get him out of
Do not
it.
help him.
Silas, that's gonna be your decision on your turn. It is also Beast's turn. I'm gonna make a wisdom saving throw. It's very hurt. Oh no, it's fine. Kind of seeing its master go down, it's going to attack Gwynwyn. Charging towards you, Gwynwyn. That is a natural 20.
Oof.
A couple things gonna happen. I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw.
The dwarf, is it with advantage?
It is with advantage. Excuse me. Is it, the dwarven resilience? Is it poison or is it poison and disease?
Poison. Poison.
You do not have advantage on this roll.
Then it's a 15.
You had a question, Clola?
It left my,
Yes, you'll get a provoke here. Let's actually. I do apologize.
just because I know it was hurt, so.
It is hurt. Actually, I will tell you something right now. As it's leaping in the air to bite at your friend.
Don't worry.
It has. Oh, I won't tell you how many hit points it has then. You're fine.
Don't. I rolled 10. So.
Good news and bad news. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe bad news. What's your con save?
15?
Pass. That's really important news. You're going to take. Oh, sorry.
It's all good. Just get knocked over.
5 points of damage.
Okay.
As it chomps down on you, you feel for a moment, and you see, like, as it pulls back the wound, this purple stuff that's foaming around its mouth. It is thick, like it's like a gross, heady beer, like a really novelty beer you don't want to drink because it's going to dye your teeth. That's what's going on here. As it pulls back, you see it kind of seeping into your wounds, and you feel it for a moment, but you're able to pull past it. That's a gnarly thing. Definitely can tell something bad's going on there. Thorn, it's your turn, then Gwynwyn.
What would have happened if she...
I don't know. I haven't died yet. I don't need to tell you.
That's true.
Mind Sliver at the mage again.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of all I can do. Not spell
Oh no. How much damage?
1 point of psychic damage.
She's not down.
-4 to the next saving throw, though.
Gosh. You over on the other end, and that's in that room, the hidden room from before. You see him kind of clutch at his face. For a moment, he kind of like loosens his grip on his spell book, digging the leather book into his temple. He's very much clearly distracted.
See his little shunts kind of popping in and out of
Yeah.
existence.
So, does a minus to saves change based off like a die roll?
Yeah, he rolls a d4.
I roll a d4 every time. yeah.
It's
Never grow up.
it seems like it's weird because you'd think it almost seems like a Bane effect where I would be rolling it, but it's more. I like any effect that lets the players roll more dice.
I thought
Anyways,
it like repeat on the same person, it grows, but that's really cool.
cool. Well, we're gonna then move on.
It's a cantrip. There's no way it's that strong.
I mean, that would be wild.
To Gwynwyn. And Silas, you're next. Gwyn,
I'm now in melee with this lizard.
you're
right?
in melee with a
I'm
lizard.
gonna hit him with my axe.
All right. Putting down one of your you draw your axe, bring it down. 12 is
15?
AC. 15. Is this lethal or non-lethal?
It's lethal. It's just trying to bite me. I'm not dealing with this lizard.
Are you about to chop his head off?
Amazing.
I think you're about to have a nice purple belt.
Okay, but no, keep the
Snakeskin
teeth. You could probably sell the teeth.
So I will tell you this. This is a large monitor lizard, specifically. You're about to... I mean, that would be a purple Komodo dragon. That's what we've got. We're talking about.
5 points of damage.
5 points of damage. You bring your hand axe down, striking in the thick part on its back,
and it falls, slumping to the ground. You see this belabored breathing begins, but it is unconscious and dying.
Okay.
Anything else, Gwynwyn?
You said you were bloody. I'm going to hand you a healing potion.
Don't
As a
worry
bonus action.
about me.
Silas, it is your turn.
Oh.
Don't hand me the healing potion. I used bad healing. So,
Silas,
I'm gonna
before...
start wiping the forbidden
Okay,
stuff.
you take it. You begin pulling out some material from your pouch and try to rip off some of the outer layers of like this tabard that the hobgoblin has to try to get the acid off. You can see it's already started to, not mechanically, but a little bit damage the splint mail,
Yeah.
and you're able to start scrubbing it off, unlatching parts of it so you can get it off of his skin. There's some burns. He's still in danger as he's very, very hurt, but he's no longer taking automatic failed death saves.
I'm not sorry.
We're gonna move then to Ismini. Ismini, the wizard before you, is immensely distracted, his skeleton fading into ash.
Well, what's great is that Toll the Dead's not like an attack or anything. It's just a creature within range. So I can either try to stab him again, or I can ask for a save.
He has a minus on save.
The -4 on the save.
Yeah, I'll ask for a save. I shouldn't have done that.
So a total of a 5.
Oh, yay!
Ding, 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 ding. His head is rocked by this D12 of damage. And he collapses backwards. And we are out of combat.
Okay, I thought his head was about to explode or some crazy shit like that.
However, the next few seconds, should you choose to try to save anyone, are going to be quite crucial. You have a few people who are clearly dead. The Goliath from last session, that Kenku. Unfortunately, they're definitely gone. You have before you have the bandit who you acid splashed previously. Additionally, you have Karguts, who looks really rough. And you have Orwyn, the leader here.
I'd like to try to stabilize Orwyn.
Okay, it's a medicine check. Silas, I'm asking you because I know you might be doing something. Are you trying to stabilize anyone?
I'm gonna be stabilizing Orwyn, or not Orwyn, sorry.
Karguts?
Do I have time to tie him up with rope, or do I know he's dying?
Stabilizing doesn't wake people up. It will take an hour for them to get up from 0 hit points.
Yeah, then I'll start
Are
trying
the webs still burning? Because if they are,
You can, as a free action,
drop,
dismiss. Yes.
I was gonna say drop concentration. Yeah.
Just making a real quick check here. You're in very good luck. The bookshelf is still unaffected. The table itself, it's still got the corner of this is burning, but where it is, doesn't look like there's too much stuff that's going on, although it's getting closer and closer to a series of notes in that cauldron that we described last session. So if someone wants to go smother those, that is an option.
Gwynwyn wants to go smother those because she wants to look at the cauldron.
Absolutely. Gwynwyn starts waddling her way over there. I need you to make me a dexterity check.
I'm gonna
Or an athletics check is also appropriate. Either one here.
make my way over to where Ismini is.
I also would like to crowd Ismini.
Okay. We're leaving the lizard. We're leaving the lizard, and we're leaving the bandit who was burned.
Yeah.
Cool.
8 for Gwynwyn.
I have to.
I got a 20 on my medicine check.
He is stable. He's going to be out for a while. You can easily,
Yeah.
pull him to the side. The webs disappear around you, and you see, it's kind of a strange thing. As the burning webs begin to dissipate, they pulse upwards in the air and swallow the flames and poof out of existence.
Reiterating that Silas is a lover, not a fighter, I got a 19 on that medicine check.
That is a success. It's DC 10 to stabilize someone. It's not terribly hard.
I want to stabilize the
Bother-
bandit, actually.
Give me a quick medicine check.
Yeah.
As you come over taking a look at him.
She rolls in that one and actually kills him. Sorry.
You were. You're in?
Did you actually?
I failed the medicine checks. I have 7.
I just rolled my last death save, and I'd like Connor to check me.
I can't see it. Oh, you're good.
You come over, and you're maybe a little bit of panic because a lot of very real violence that has gone on.
Yeah.
A lot of acid burns have been happening
I'm
here.
like, oh my gosh, it's so much worse
You're
than I thought it
pressing
was.
down on one of his wounds,
Oh my.
getting bandages, and as you come over and begin binding him, he.
Oh, thank God.
I'm sorry.
We don't attack each other.
No fight.
We good? You'll stay here?
Yeah. Whatever you say, lady.
If you go fix the lizard and don't try anything funny.
All right. He kind of
like slowly gesturing. He's got a healing potion. The lizard?
No, not on the lizard.
Oh, all right.
Medicine is fine.
He comes over, gets like kind of crawling over. It's not very wise. He does have a -1 to this, but I'll go ahead and make that stabilized check.
I mean, I'm not very wise.
Natural
either.
1. I'm gonna go over here. As you guys can see here, he's doing genuine work.
It's just a lizard.
He's gonna keep working on the lizard as what's going on over here.
I think we need to start referring to it as the belt, not the beast.
Yeah.
That's
But
fair.
I would like it as a
I'm gonna keep this actually.
I will say, hobgoblin trade a lizard to eat people. Like it's not.
Honestly,
It's not great. It's not the
animal,
worst.
You eat animals, and I'm saying those teeth could be very sellable. They're
Some
poisonous teeth.
some of our viewers will be much happier with it if you end up eating the lizard. So
Oh, okay.
you don't have to eat the lizard, Clella.
Wait, is L a pescatarian?
To make things a little bit easier,
Yes.
since you've cleared all the current dangers that are going on, I'm going to ask for a couple things. I will allow 2 people. If there are any 2 people who'd like to say investigate that room that was revealed from the because it was a secret room because you saw the cave wall recess and reveal this beautiful I mean, it's dank, but it's well-made paved hallway. I need 2 people can investigate. Okay, great. You can roll separately, or if one of you like to help the other.
I just wanted to investigate. If you want to, sure.
L. In this sort of case, that's your decision. Are you offering
Yeah, I just
aid?
helped this meeting.
Perfect.
I mostly
Meaning,
just,
make me an
like,
investigation check with advantage as the party begins bandaging up some folks, as well as making sure everyone's okay, and you all begin to look around the room.
I have a flavor for this. If you
How-
want.
9.
With a 9. Before I described, you said you had something you wanted to add, Clella?
Oh, just my flavor for I feel like Elle actually ended up hurting instead of helping by being like, did you see what Gwen she killed those people?
Yeah.
Mike.
She killed those people. Oh my gosh. They.
Yeah.
You know what? It's fine. We're looking at books. We're looking for books.
She cut a bitch.
Looking around the room, you do find looking around the room as well as being to maybe look through the various equipment here. In addition to a small collection of relatively crappy daggers, a couple of short swords, you do also find a few notable things. You find 2 strange arrows that you actually had seen previously used that were had used to attempt to burn down Sulo's farm. These arrows here, if you'd like to know, there are 2 what are called igniting arrows. I can give you those mechanics later. They are a form of magical item, and they will resize themselves to fit a crossbow or bow. So an important thing to note. Additionally, you find a potion of healing, which I believe Elle had taken previously from that one bandit. In addition, 1 more from Karguts. You have Orwyn's spellbook. And if you'd like, I can actually give you I can give it to you now. Total coinage for the entire group, 15 gold, 40 silver, 150 copper. And Victoria, I'm assuming you're doing the thing we normally do.
140?
140 copper.
Yeah.
For those investigation checks with only a 9, I'm just going to give you kind of a basic description of the room, and if you have specific things you're looking into, that's absolutely fine. Looking around the actual room, you do see this cauldron filled with a semi-translucent, terrible-smelling solution that you actually would very immediately notice, Gwynwyn, is an incomplete project. A collection of notes, crumbled reagents, some organic, some inorganic, are here. And it'll take some work, and you will be very careful not to mess with it until you know what it is. But it looks like it's a mostly complete project. I do have all the stuff here, but you will need to take about an hour or so to actually look over. So this would be something you would do. It's not an instant check.
Yep.
Additionally, there is a bookshelf. With a 9, there's not a lot to say unless you're going to be spending a while looking everything over. Mm-hmm. But so what you can see here is the tomes here are half rotted, showing signs of aging, and you do notice that some of them are dyed this sort of brownish color in a splatter pattern. It looks like they are blood-stained books, dusty, worn, some of them moth-eaten, not in great. Now, nothing instantly jumps out with that investigation check. Could be something. The shelf itself is shorter than Gwyn. It's about Gwynwyn's height. It's a short shelf with some tomes on it.
Yeah.
Additionally, Where the bookshelf stands, it is on a ruddy red-brown carpet with a small trim that looks to be some sort of large serpent-like creature.
Okay.
That could be nice to see.
There are also a pair of chairs there is a chair in each of two of the corners.
I would like to keep the rug. So what I'd like to do is we're gonna probably wait for an hour for these guys to wake up.
Okay, so I will allow you to take a short rest. You are able to tie people up successfully. This is a wizard. Are you gagging him?
Oh yeah.
Are you, okay.
While they're taking the short rest, I'm happy to kind of cut and not do a short rest. I want to go back to the entrance of the cave.
You want to go grab Sulo?
Grab Sulo, and then also I'm going to go all the way back and see if I can't find a direction that Jared went. See if the blood splatter kind of led somewhere, if there was a broken twig.
That would be a survival check. You're kind of looking for traces of someone having passed through and try to track them.
Yeah, I just want to see the direction, so let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Survival check is going to be 17.
17. You are able to what you do notice as you pass by Sulo, Sulo's okay. It does not appear that Sulo's been kidnapped. Kind of look at you. However, you do notice that there are some bloodstains near the mouth of the cave and the remnants of what looks to be a shattered glass bottle. You've seen similar vials here. It does appear that maybe someone downed a potion on their way out.
Fair enough.
But looking around, you don't see. It look like he booked it. You see, it doesn't look like he was being stealthy. Connor, you had a question as well.
I want to pick up the weird cobra thing.
That.
Grab the weird cobra thing, and it's funny you mentioned that. You pick up the cobra, and you begin walking towards the rest of the party. There is something else I did neglect to mention that I guess it would make sense for me to, I suppose, allow you to know. Additionally, the table that the cauldron is on does have, with that investigation check, it's kind of been, you're distracted, meaning you're dealing with Elle, who's kind of overwhelmed by this. There is not a drawer system, but a cabinet in the desk. The chair itself has been thrown to the side, but there is a closed cabinet on the desk. Where you put it, a very small computer on a modern computer table.
It's got to be a mimic. The cabinet only, not the desk.
Gwynwyn would like to investigate the cauldron and try to spend this hour figuring out what this project was, read through all the notes.
Okay, I'll let you do this. Just note that because it's a relatively short amount of time, the DC's higher. When you have more time, it's going to get easier if you fail this time. Make me what we're doing here is an intelligence alchemist tool check. So instant proficiency. Just roll with advantage.
Disadvantage because I still have my exhaustion.
Oh, perfect.
16.
16. The best thing I can tell you is that it looks like there's 2 reagents here, and that it's incomplete. One of them is some sort of crushed up stone, and the other one is some sort of crushed, what looks to be the leaf or stem of a plant. It has a sort of fruity smell to it, but you're not sure at this time what it is. But what I will give you for that 16 is that you're pretty confident that if you were very careful and definitely you couldn't carry a weapon to do this. If you were very careful, you could safely transport this somewhere else. Maybe not on a wagon, but to the inn or to a campsite. That would be pretty doable. Cool. I have more information, but you're gonna need to roll that over the course of like a long rest or even a day of downtime. Continuing on. So Silas, you've got Sulo. It definitely looks like he booked it. He wasn't trying to be stealthy. He was going as fast as he can. You got some blood, found the evidence of him doing some healing. No way to tell from here if he's going to be back, but that's what you've got. Additionally, going off of passive perception, you looking around the room. Someone said something about the rug, actually.
Oh, I wanted to keep the rug.
I am so interested in this rug.
I wanted to put it on the cart and have it for like when we
Silas or anyone with a strength sword, does anyone want to help move the bookshelf out of the way?
I can help.
I'll start shimming it.
The 2 of you, make a strength check.
12.
Also a 12.
Perfect. That's DC 10. The 2 of you pick it up, move it out to the side, put it down as you begin rolling up the rug.
I like to think
See a small 4x4 foot square. This square inlaid in the ground with a small seam and a pair of thick bronze latches on one end has a bronze this wide bronze ring hooked to on the other end.
it appears to be some sort of trap door.
I truly wasn't necessarily expecting a trap door. I just thought it'd be really luxurious.
Rolls a 9, but I do want to take the rug though.
I thought it would be luxurious for us to camp, like, out, but, like, have a rug that
If you
we
clean
lay
this,
on.
it's an okay rug.
Right. I honestly was trying to be funny about, like, oh, I want to travel with a rug now. 'Cause
It
we've
is
got
a
this
weird.
cart.
The design. It's not.
Right.
You wouldn't have called it bougie. It's not. It's strange. It's also not a perfectly rectangular rug. It's got this sort of swooping corners on each of the
Yeah.
edges. This brown red.
I
It's
was being
odd.
funny. I wasn't actually
God.
thinking there was something under it.
No, this is perfect. I like Ismini's survival. Like she's
would-
no, I want a coffee.
I definitely suspected something was underneath the rug.
I
I just didn't want to say anything.
I was like
You're
waiting.
You're allowed to be like. That's a weird rug.
Yeah.
Oh, I
I
was
thought it
like,
was a
we're gonna
weird
look
rug.
at the rug, and I'm gonna like try to think of everything I've
time out.
ever read to see if I know anything about snake organization.
Sneeple.
No one opened the drawer.
No one has looked inside the cabinet now.
Do we all know about the drawer?
So I was just gonna open and
No, I have 4 so
Do you need a healing
Opening
potion?
this
'Cause
up?
I have one.
I have one.
We're taking
There is a
short rest.
small lockbox.
We already took a short rest.
This.
Sorry.
As you open up the cabinet, inside is a lockbox. It's not like a cutesy pirate chest. It is a long, flat on the top metal box. Something you see at a bank or somewhere with a vault. The front of it looks to have a brass button and you can see there's as you kind of looking above it. Look at there's latches on the back that allow the hinge to work for this.
yeah.
It's very likely locked, but you do see this.
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna put it on the table and then just trying to figure out. Like, it might be locked. I'm probably just gonna see if it'll open no matter what. Poke the button. I might be putting up a trap, but like Silas doesn't really think about that.
I need you to make me an intelligence saving throw.
Yeah, that's fair. It's for a 12.
Those of you who are standing in the room, looking at the strange tomes covered in old, I guess decayed blood, like dried out blood from possibly years old, hear a sudden thud, a loud earthquake. Earthquakes never happen in Gren. That's so strange. And you see Silas unconscious on the floor.
Is he still breathing?
Does he still have the box in his hand?
Silas, we'll get to you in a bit. Does your trunk do this at the end? As you...
No! It's like the same thing.
Incredible.
Is it?
You all get the benefits of a short rest. And we're not... When you're ready for these folks to wake up, I will let you know Orwyn is going to wake up. Carguts and the bandit have sustained considerably more serious injuries and might take longer.
I just wanted to do a real quick flip through to see if there was, like, what was going on in the spell book.
The spellbook. So I will let you know. So this is fun. We get a little bit of what is a wizard. Spellbooks are heavily encoded,
Yeah.
personalized. I need you to make me an Arcana check.
Oh no, I'm not rolling great today.
I know. I love making you make checks.
Since I'm unconscious, do I still need to roll my hit dice while she's doing that?
You take a long rest, or short rest. Excuse me, a short rest.
I mean,
Sounds
I'll
like cat
take
nap.
it.
You're out.
I'll take it.
Forcibly cat nap.
Can I take a short rest and also drink a wolf's pill and let it heal me over that time?
Do you want
Yes.
a potion instead? that's
Wolf's
gonna
was a
go
minute.
with you?
Wolf's will takes a minute.
Takes a
and healing
minute,
potion.
yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
I'll use the wolf's
up
pill.
because I have. I'll just leave myself at 7 HP.
I have a potion that goes away with a long rest. Would you like it?
Oh yeah, sure. I'll take
Wolf's
that.
will work great.
It's 2d4 plus 4.
Thank you.
You take a little bit of time to begin brewing another one.
I already had one.
You already have. No, I mean for your next one. Does
No,
she
I'm
get
out of
once per
spell
short
slots.
rest? Oh, it costs you a spell slot. That's right.
Yep.
Wolf's will give me 10
I made it
HP.
before the fight, so.
You're so scary and deadly, but also nice.
Right though, she's like, I'm gonna burn you alive, but don't worry, I'll also take care of you.
Yeah.
Gwynwyn, Lord of Acid Attacks.
Lord of
Oh no.
Lord of Death.
Lord of Fire.
I'm still scared of you. I'm
If
like.
you see any tieflings with
"Thanks."
dice, let me know.
Oh my god.
All right. Over the course of this bit of time, you do see there's this there's a trap door that was hidden beneath the rug, which has a ring. It's pretty substantial. It looks like it's probably made for someone with a relatively large size creature. Like, not a giant, but a big dude. More like a Goliath or an orc than a dwarf, even. And dwarf has bigger hands than, like, humans.
There are more Loxodons in this world, I just realized.
You wouldn't know. You haven't met any.
I got an 8.
Got an 8. Looking over here, the only notable thing you'll see is that there are well-made, but not artistic, measurements. Like there's okay drawings of it, but precise measurements about the Iron Cobra with you.
Okay. But
It's not written in precise language. There's a bunch of no. There are spells. I will let you know that his spell book contains.
Oh shit.
No, I'm not telling you the specific spells. That's going to take you doing some work.
Oh no. I didn't know that was a thing wizards had to do. I'm never gonna get to learn these spells.
Absolutely are.
They're never just written in
1, 2,
plain
3,
common.
4, 5, 6.
The
There are more than 6 spell levels worth of spells in here. So a second level spell is 2 spell levels worth. It'll take you some time. Maybe during a long rest, you want to use some free time. Maybe if you all take a day after today. But there's quite a bit of magic in here. Okay. Some of it begins to look a little bit familiar. You do quickly notice some familiar abjurative symbols, and that actually gives you a bit of an in to decode the rest of it. You do see mage armor amongst those spells.
Great.
I have the full spell list here.
Whenever
you won't
I
lose
figure it
anything. This is Orwyn's spellbook. Orwyn, Orwyn, which I believe there's no contesting. We're okay with Ismini taking that?
Oh, yeah.
Additionally, scribing spells, unless the wizard charmed the book, doesn't destroy the book. So later, if you want to have Lilia look at that as well, that's also an option for you.
I really spelled his name wrong too. I've spelled everybody's name wrong.
That's probably more an indictment of me.
Orun.
Oryn?
Yeah.
Oryn's not a bad. I like Oren as a fun name. Oryn.
This is O-W?
Orwyn.
Orwyn.
Great.
Orwyn.
Okay, forgetting some letters.
All right. Now, Orwyn is starting to stir. Is there anything else you want? But this is a whole hour is passing. Is there anything else you all had before this?
Can I also poke the... No, I'm not going to do anything else. I've done a lot.
Am I also asleep?
Yeah, let's talk about what's going on during your hour.
Open the box. Join me.
Silas, you've been walking in this maze for what feels like hours, maybe even days. This massive stone labyrinth, you barely see the bit of light leaking from above you. And finally, you reach the end. A stone, some sort of large feline. You're not necessarily sure what to place it. Without having its features of its fur, it's a little bit hard to take. If you want to make a nature check, you can. But it stands before you and asks the following riddle.
I'm not good at those.
I sit atop a throne of lies. Those who sing can see my eyes. My cloak is made of silvered dyes, and you must speak the name of I. I'll let you think about that as we jump into the rest of the party. He's in a maze dream with some sort of, what was that nature check?
13.
That's not a real cat, you just noticed it had wings. That is a sphinx.
It's a sphinx.
It's a sphinx. You've heard of sphinxes.
Sphinxes tells
The sphinxes tell riddles.
Yeah. Come on.
You went through a maze, found someone like, tell me riddles, I'll let you go out of the exit.
Uh-oh, Silas is starting.
Everyone else gets weird dreams.
Everyone,
No, Silas dies here. I hope you know Silas dies in this maze.
it's a
Jake
very
and
real
Silas
chance.
are not intelligent. I don't know what this means.
Oh, that's fine. I will let you know that mechanically, I need you to make me a DC 20 intelligence check. Thorn. Sometimes you make traps for specific players. This was for you.
Oh, thank God. I can't even hit that.
You can't. You just have to wait for it to run out.
You're welcome.
It's a charisma-based maze.
How'd you do?
19.
I wish it was.
No, you're still out by the time that Orwyn's going to be waking up.
The bandit that's awake now is fine. Do you have a name? Do you have a name? I forgot what voice I was doing.
What? Yosef?
Cool, Yosef. I think you're gonna help us tie up your friends, including your friend Lizard, and you're going to.
I'm really sorry, madam. I did my best, but I wasn't. Listen,
He kind of rolls up one of his pant legs, shows, you see like a scar. Listen, he was really kind of an arsehole. Just,
I mean, sure. Okay. I mean, that's just
I did
nature
try.
or Gwynwyn's course. You know, it just happens sometimes.
I get
All
a
right.
belt now.
It happens
Fine.
sometimes. It happens.
I can help you
sometimes.
tie up my friends. Do you want me to tie myself up? It would be a little hard, but if I use my teeth.
Why don't you tie them up first, and then
Yeah,
you maybe just
that makes more sense.
yeah, sit next to them and just
All right.
stay. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Just full disclosure. Kind of lifts over one of his shirt, takes one of his daggers, and drops on the ground. Thought that'd be better.
You know what? Your honesty is appreciated and noted.
Hey, my continued existence is also appreciated.
But not noted.
Yes, other, madam.
Beanie.
Out of character.
Yes?
Hello, everybody who rated the channel. Hi.
Oh, hey!
That's super fun.
We have new
Hello from the
friends now.
GM. Welcome. We're very excited to have you. We're just doing a
Want to
little.
say hello.
We're dealing with the ramifications of a bit of, we'd like to call it aggressive negotiations, otherwise known as our resident acid monster,
Unleash the dwarf.
Unleash the Dwarf.
The dwarf would like to go investigate the poison on the teeth, and then also make a belt out of the lizard if she could.
Okay, well, you know that. Okay, so two
they
things.
said.
Skinning.
Because so this is kind of though this is
like-
all happening at once.
Yeah.
You spend the hour,
Yeah.
and you like that was what you did, and you failed that check. Now you can make a mental note to go back to that. It's a corpse, so you would understand that it'll start rotting, but it's not a few minutes later. And also, it doesn't seem like a magical beast, so you wouldn't suspect that its magic is going to instantly fade. But something you might consider doing in the next couple of days.
Soon.
Very, very soon.
Yeah.
Huh?
Do you have the cobra?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Great.
Now, this Yosef is going to, he's just kind of, it helps tie up, and this is all kind of happening over the course of an hour, hour and a half. Silas, you want to give me another intelligence check? As he looks down at you once more, as you failed the first riddle, and just asks the question, what is in my pocket?
A pocket full of sunshine with a natural 20.
You start speaking up for a while, making these jokes. He says no, and as you're banished back to the start of the labyrinth, you continue walking and realize something. At no point have his paws left the base of the actual of the base of the statue he stands on, and you walk past the Sphinx. Wait, no, and you wake up.
He had no pockets.
He had no pockets. Was the actual answer there? But
Oh, never mind.
oh my god.
Wait, tell me.
Is that even the first?
one?
I don't even think it's the first time you've made that sort of joke on the stream yet.
No.
He's been like on a roll all night.
Wait, so tell me, what was the first riddle? The answer to that, the silver.
I think he's saving it.
What? You think
The
the
next
answer to
one
my
of us-
riddles are your business?
Yes,
You don't
I'm the
even
one
know
that
I'm
like.
sorry.
Alex knows the answer. Alex, do you know the answer?
To what?
The riddles? We talk about. Oh! Welcome. For those of you who are, if there's anyone who's checking us out who hasn't been here before, this is our mascot Coco. We love her to death, and
She wants mom.
She does want mom.
she's,
I was a step.
Coco was sick recently. She's doing a lot better.
Chad is asking for you to repeat the riddle.
Oh,
Do it.
Oh,
Same for
chat.
Me. Same for me.
yes, I'm very
for the
excited. Do it for the chat. Do I have to do the voice?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, of course.
I sit atop a throne of lies. Those who sing can see my eyes. My cloak is made of silvered dyes, and you must speak the name of I.
Matthew.
No, that's
Where's the silvered cloak you speak of?
Your
okay.
dice.
When you say dies, you mean dies?
Dyes, D-Y-E-S.
Okay, so the death.
You know what? I'm happy if if you we'll put on the Discord later. I can give this in text for those of you who may want to
Is
review
there a
it.
prize?
Should there be a prize?
There should be a prize.
There should be a prize.
Put us all on the
Just
spot.
the clout.
I'll think about it once we get more information of what that would be. I'm happy to put something on the Discord for that. But yeah, so, but Silas, you are able to wake up having realized that the Sphinx's riddles were not actually preventing you from leaving the maze itself.
It pisses me off because I fucking love riddles.
Look,
I
do
be
you want to
thinking
do
about
it?
this the other.
Do you want to do
I
it?
had more.
Connor's gonna claim the
Yeah.
prize.
No, I'm so bad
Oh,
at riddles. I'm gonna be at like
1 in
4
the morning,
a.m.
we're all gonna get a Discord notification.
I got it. Okay, so we need to get the box to Thorn, is what I'm hearing. No. Am I
Let's
confident
look
I
at
can
the
touch the box
language
again
and the
without going
actual
back
text.
to sleep?
You could make me an. Well, so do you have the ability to detect magic?
When it's
No.
cast on you.
I'm detecting some form of magic.
I'm
attacking
detecting
me.
something burning me.
To kind of short circuit all of this, you'll want to look at this probably in a little bit as Orwyn the mage wakes up. Ugh. Oh, it is you.
I thought we gagged him.
Grr.
Can you sit slap him?
Should I repeat what I did last time?
Yes.
You want me to?
Wait,
No, it's okay.
Hold on that.
There's
But I
too-
love
I
your
have-
thinking.
I have.
Very
I have some
creative.
powder.
We're gonna talk to him first.
Wait. What?
It's
The riding leathers get a bit itchy and.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, not drugs.
yeah. I
No. It's we rode a long way from the bulwark and.
It could.
It's a different kind of white powder.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Hate the stuff.
The way we all stopped.
Who are you people?
going.
No, I meant he was gonna be really rude when he smacked him.
Now it's a party.
But Orwyn does sort of wake up this angry, gagged mage, looking at him, and I'll go ahead and take this little miniature for you guys to pass him around. This high recesses, widow's peak, recessed hairline. With this, he's got this beautiful jet black hair that's slowly but surely trying to escape his face.
Great.
This very angry, shrewd man,
got
long, thick, bushy eyebrows. What was that?
Let's say he's got bad guy eyebrows.
He's got some real what was his name? Jafar vibes
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
This long red robe with additionally looks to be some outer layers. As you know, there's a little bit of an autumnal chill that was happening earlier.
Yeah, Jafar had that snake staff thing.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was okay. That one was done on purpose. That's just a miniature I thought was cool to represent
Does he
him.
have an annoying bird?
Wait, he's the songbird.
Oh
Where's my
my
songbird?
gosh, the songbird was the Iago the
Iago.
whole time.
It's Yaga.
It's all coming
Wait,
together.
that's copyrighted. We can't keep talking about this.
Oh,
15 seconds.
So I'm gonna have a repeat performance of what happened in the barn earlier today. I think.
No.
okay.
I'm still asleep.
Nice.
Great. Hello, you're still gagged, so you can't respond to me. But we're gonna have a
It's
little.
my pencil. Or
Yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of fun today. So,
kill you.
great. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna nod your head yes if you're gonna agree to answer all of my questions. If you do, you're gonna have a good day after this. It's gonna be a totally normal day. You get to go home. Maybe see your family. You know.
Alex is taking screenshots again.
If not, I have more acid.
No, we're good. We're not doing that right now.
Right now.
Are we friends?
Wait.
Are you gonna
Oh, wait.
answer me nicely? Nod your head.
Can I slap him?
No. So,
I mean, I was going to do it directly.
we've got a buddy of yours here we've been chatting with.
I have a belief.
And so if you lie to us, we'll know. If you tell us,
Are you, just so I know, because there's some different mechanics to this, are you trying to imply zone of truth existing?
yeah,
Okay. So continue, and at the end of this one, I'm gonna get the deception check here.
yeah, that's fine.
As she says that, I'm gonna just reach out and do the telepathic speech and
Ooh.
just say, "I know exactly what you're thinking."
Thank you.
That's pretty fantastic.
Great.
That's intimidating.
Let's. Oh yes. So I'm gonna address chat real quick.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone who's joined in. We have our lovely Alex is over here. He helps run the audio and the stream in the background as we all get to play our game. We appreciate him very much, and would one day soon love to see him in a game. So look forward to that.
I'm just a wizard.
But continuing on. Sorry, thank you guys for letting me interrupt there briefly. Reaching in with that mind, I'm actually going to take that as the help action. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
If you'd like, give me that intimidation check with advantage.
Intimidation or deception?
Oh, that's true.
So you're kind of angling towards different things. But I would say actually what you're doing also works to accentuate this idea that you're helping with the lie. So you can roll that deception with
Thank
advantage.
you.
I apologize.
That'd be a 17.
17. Now, as a reminder, it's not never. These kind of dice rolls aren't mind control. But you see that while he does this slow nod, this angry, the angry caterpillars that adorn his forehead don't really adjust much. You're not certain how much his demeanor has changed, but he's giving you his nod. Are you removing the gag?
Yes.
How about we leave the gag in and I'll translate?
Ooh, smart.
Oh,
man.
no.
Yeah.
You kind of as they're going to remove the gag, you just put your hand in front.
I got this.
Okay.
All right, and
Great.
so now I'm not gonna make you parrot. Now, if you want to lie at any point, you can pause and we can translate that. But essentially, he's going to use his telepathic link, retrieving those messages, and he'll also be able to know if I'm not answering.
Great. Question number 1. Why did you send your men to that farm?
We had a mission, and it does not concern you. Release me, and you may yet live. He passes this along.
I slap.
Silas wakes up.
I slap him.
Wait.
No.
Can I?
No. Yeah, there we go. Great. Okay, no.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I'm going to do that this entire time.
Question number 1. Why were you at the farm? Why'd you send your men to the farm?
We were to retrieve a subject for my master.
Yeah. See, the problem is that, you didn't tell me the full truth the first time. We're good now.
Are you taking a long sip out of your wine skin as well as this is going on?
No, Ella's hydrating. It's post
I
fight.
have wine.
It's good practice.
It's a
Gotta
lot of.
hydrate.
You do cardio and you drink water? Who is this fantasy
Like
character?
stretching.
Okay.
No.
Additionally,
gym
I will
these
say,
days.
because you're not actually able to hear him, I'm not going to give you like an 8, even let you 8 on this. If you have any desire for sense motives, your sense motives are only going to be related to facial features, and as such, as you're not hearing the tone of his voice, I am going to be imparting disadvantage on that.
Right, well, it's going to have to be.
Yes. That's just want
Yeah.
to explain
We're
the
having to
mechanics
work-
if we're doing this.
This interrogation, we're working together now. So, question number 2. What's the name of your master? You are just a servant, correct? There's no way you could have run this operation.
I'm gonna kind of reach behind where his hands are tied and just kind of pick out that little pinky finger.
Oh
Just
my
say-
gosh!
Wow! I didn't know you were
Never-
going there with me.
You ever play the piggies game?
Silas, you are awake at this point, just as a reminder.
I have an intense guilt as to what I did earlier, and I start excusing myself to go hang out with Silas.
With Sulo?
Sulo.
Okay.
You're gonna go
You
hang
step
out with
away.
the zombie?
You over here. The zombie. You go and spend some time with the undead. Hey, it's an undead father.
Yeah.
He was just trying to raise a family.
Exactly. I'm just gonna you seem like a good dad. I never really knew my dad.
I have kids.
Maybe one day I'll have kids. It's just I haven't really met anyone like me.
Light of my life.
Oh, yeah,
Oh
tell me
no!
about your life.
Wait, is he getting better? Is he actually?
Sulo has not been aggressive since you've been talking to him, but they're over there. Interrogating is the polite word for what they're doing.
I'm not.
I haven't.
Do you
done-
want to talk to this?
No, I'm like in the room, just like
Intense guilt. I'm just out of here. I can't.
Okay, I'll just stand here.
So
That was
What would your mothers think?
that was an attempt at intimidation.
Yes.
by the way.
Okay, going through here.
yeah,
Your request for any information from his master's met with dead silence.
great.
Mentally speaking.
Okay. Even after the pinky.
Yeah.
Even after the pinky thing, it appears that what the harm you're suggesting is not something that is comparably scary.
I pull out my coin purse. I just reach in and just grab a handful of coins.
Sure.
Just a handful. I'm not even looking. And I drop them on the ground. And I say, so these aren't any that you're going to be getting for your information. All right, let's continue. Whatever I've got left in my bag at the end, after I get the information that I want, I'm happy to send you with to try to restart your life. Because you're making some very bad decisions currently, and maybe you could turn it around. So, I'll ask again. Who's your master?
Tell your Arcanist compatriot that she will not receive any information about my master nor his dealings.
I reach into my bag again and I make sure this time that I do pull out the platinum piece and drop it on the ground. All right, so that's also not going to go into your pay.
Gwynwyn just calls out, you sure you don't want any acid?
Nope. That's not what we're here for.
Gwynwyn is still just working in the cauldron.
Yeah.
Just no respect for the villain that's here. Carguts is still out. The two of them are going to need possibly days of bed rest or magical healing.
Right.
We'll do something similar.
Which we
but
don't have.
you have access to, but you're
Right,
fine.
Right.
Can I smack him with his iron cobra?
I'm not gonna hit him.
Are you gonna beat a man with his own?
Yeah, with his own snake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Magical.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me real quick. It's a dexterity check with advantage. It's an improvised weapon. You're rolling against a prone and restrained target.
13.
13, unfortunately, is... So as you bring it down, trying to strike against him, you watch as forming like a film over his skin, just barely in front of it, you see this white flash as the adamantine cobra is struck against his face, and he's unmoving. Like, kind of just... He takes the hit, and it doesn't break through.
All right, I'm bored. I'll keep translating, but I'm gonna fuck around with this.
That's fine.
The lockbox?
Basement.
Seeing as I've been able to get wonderful information from the people working under him, for truly, I mean, I have given away most of the money that I've made on my travels, and yet, for some reason, he doesn't want to also exchange a service.
Who betrayed? Are you go? Do you want the name?
You like to know?
Not the actual
Why do we
name.
keep him alive? You guys.
The actual name was Dalian.
Yeah, Verna.
I thought it was Jared.
Well,
No.
Jared fucking ran away.
No, the one I was using the name of the bird. Verna.
Yeah.
Any little magic or exchange people.
It was foolish to get exchange involved in my organization.
Your organization. Oh, so you're
Kind of narrows his eyes at you. So, okay, to avoid some of the nitty gritty, and
Yeah.
I'm going to ask, what is the intent through here? There's only so much. It doesn't appear that he's happy. You're asking him to divulge the most important secrets of his life.
right. No, I just want to needle him for a half hour. Like I'm fully just
So,
here annoying him for about a half.
With some of
hour.
those roles you have here, a couple things you do learn, just surface level to begin with. He does not appear to be motivated by coin.
Right.
That does not appear to be an interest to him. Are there any if there's any specific bits of information with those things you have here? I do have a what does he know and relevant
Right.
DCs going on here.
Basically, at the bare minimum, what I'm trying to get to is there a name or an area in which they normally operate, or does he know anything about like how the test experiment became a thing? Like how did the zombie exist? Like I'm trying to get like I understand I'm not going to be able to really get a lot out of him, but like my three main things are: who are you guys? Where are you normally operating? And do you know how Thulu exists?
Can I?
So Clella's had a question for a while. She's been trying to find a moment. What was that? What's up, Clella?
Actually, I would like to say this to Ismini directly.
Yeah, sure.
If he's not motivated by money or fear, but by more powerful arcanists, maybe you should just tell him who your allies are.
No,
Okay.
Can I?
he's not worth that knowledge.
Can I possibly use one of these fluorite gems to get a spell slot back, and then I can just actually read his thoughts?
You're allowed to do so. Now, as a reminder, there is a DC on that.
DC 15 con save.
Yes.
Is what I got.
Now you still get the spell slot either way, but you get a point of exhaustion.
He has to try it. You don't know, or you have to ask someone who's you have to like research and read about it.
17 on the die, 21 for the con save.
Excellent. You feel for a moment it's like starts sapping your strength, and then like you focus your mind, that same source well of power you have, into the gem and restore a spell slot.
Okay.
Now, actually, I believe it's because they're effectively Pearl of Power, so it's a spell slot up to 3rd level. So you can restore a 2nd level spell slot if you'd like to.
Let me find how you worded it. I thought it was up to.
Was it 3 levels? No. Was it 3 levels worth of spells? I don't have that session.
Exhaustible up to 3rd level. So
Up to 3rd level, yes.
Yeah.
These are not like Arcane Recovery where they're levels worth. It's up to a 3rd level spell
So I can
slot.
just get 1 second.
One 2nd level spell
Okay,
slot.
cool. Yeah, I'll get my 2nd level back, and
What kind of save do I make for the deeper thoughts? I'll give you the surface, of course. There's no save for that.
yeah, surface thoughts, no save. Deeper thoughts is a wisdom save.
And if he passes, is it over or do you reapply each round? You may need to pull up the PHP
Yeah,
for
I'll
that.
probably have to pump.
However, good news for this. That is a 10 on the die for a 12 on his saving throw.
Fails.
It is a failed save. Oh, you're going to get some information.
Great.
Couple things. He notices Silas during the course of the conversation. A few things are happening. First, Silas, you mentioned you wanted to inspect a little bit, not necessarily touching, but inspect that block box.
I learned my
He
lesson.
kind of panics when he gets closer again, and you are able to tell over the course of the next few moments that Silas, having already experienced the effect, has discharged its effect. So the box itself is just a mundane box now.
You're welcome.
Additionally, a couple more things. I hate to say it, you do get a name. The name is Zerathal.
Can you spell this one so I don't get it wrong?
Zerathal. But in his mind, when he speaks it, he says so in a hushed whisper. Like he's afraid of thinking of directly, so more thinking of an idea of him that even names don't have. It's which you've read people's minds before now. It's more of a very clear sign of he's genuinely frightened of him. He doesn't think he's a god, just a very powerful man, woman, person, a powerful mage of some renown. He does curse himself, wishing he had pulled the stone from the box before you all had arrived.
Great.
I want the box.
So for the next minute, you can ask him questions, and
Oh,
I
you've
can
got
get
this
some
is
information.
this is what he's doing right now is what a lot of people think that insight does. So please
Great.
have at
wonderful.
it.
I want to know where he studied.
Over the course of that, you get flashes. Is it okay that they're not words, more flashes of ideas that you can?
Yeah, and that's exactly what the spell says too. It's like emotional states and things like that, and then
Oh, we're gonna get
whatever
some
looms
highlight
over his
reel.
mind.
Oh no! What I wish I had backstory prep for this guy. So you see for a moment a small manor in a massive city. The city itself on a coastline, pretty quickly recognizable as the capital of Elts. Now you haven't been here. You, Thorn, having grown up, you've heard descriptions of it. You see this massive, beautiful, shining silver palace in the background, the Palladium Palace, a notable location within the city. You recognize what this is. You see a small, but that's not where he is. He's in an upper class section of the city, leaving his home. Moments later, but though what might have been years in terms of the memory, you see him leaving angrily from an academy, unsuccessful. Another group has failed him. Another teacher can't appreciate his genius. Then he goes to a darker side of the city. He's surrounded by magical darkness. Fearing for an attack, he readies his wand, and instead hears a strange, garbled voice. Now, I don't believe you speak Abyssal. However, get the general gist of it, it appears that Zerathal was his teacher after he was unsuccessful in attaining an apprenticeship in Elts.
Let's remember that name.
I wish I could have heard it.
Did you speak Abyssal?
Because I speak Abyssal.
Silas, are you opening the? If you're hearing this translation, are you opening?
What?
You just
But
make a bunch
as
of
soon
sound.
as he said the box.
There are a couple things in here, but this is in there.
Oh.
This is a wax sealed letter that has previously been opened.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem important. I'm just gonna put it back in the box.
Yeah. Honestly, throw it into the cauldron.
So I don't know if there's really a whole lot we've now got the name. We've got the fact that this guy's probably an Elts.
And was there anything else? Elle, you're here.
Anybody?
If anyone,
Where they
He's-
normally operate from?
With Elts.
Just
If he's related to, oh my gosh, not the Great Boar, the masked people, the Lionheart,
Lionheart Tiefling
or
and the short.
Stelis.
Oh yeah, about the
Dwarf.
people who like were annoying them, like asking.
Oh,
about
sure.
that.
If he has anything to do with that.
couple things. Flashes you get here. It appears that while he originally operated in Western Elt, so in the city, after they've recently been harassed by a group of masked, well, he thinks of them as masked bastards, masked criminals, villains. Is some sort of antagonist to him. He thinks of a trio of individuals, each of which obscure their face in one way or another. Because of this, they moved out to Mount Shannon in Galavon. So still next to the city, but outside of the city's walls, in near this massive forest, the Bulwark, which protects Elts from the west. So it appears that his portion of Zarathal's, whatever Zarathal has, was driven out of town successfully by these three individuals. One, what appears to be a tiefling known as the Lionheart. The other was that shorter individual using those glowing two blades. And the third appeared to be some sort of human man who wielded a crossbow.
The shorter person is the Stelis.
Yes, Bastellus, which you guys would know is an undead creature that invades nightmares. Basically, it's a scary monster that people have started attributing to this person. They've used dark magic. They're like literal darkness magic, not evil.
Great. I'm kind of done with them at this point, unless anybody else has anything they want.
I wouldn't mind asking something.
He said some very colorful words. Okay, this is the last thing I'm giving you because that's about a minute, and we've been talking for a few.
No,
And that's totally fine. You're good.
He mentions a stone in this letter. Is there one in the box?
There is. Inside of the box, I mentioned there were a few things. Inside of the box, there are 5 spell scrolls, 2 potions of healing. However, they look. Sorry, I kind of spilled the pot, spilled the beans early. It's actually 2 potions. It's the second stage of potions of healing, so a little bit bigger than what you had before, and a black onyx stone. I will let you know it is worth 150 gold pieces.
He mentions in this letter using the stone. Gwenny, can you come check this out? I need you to. That's all I got.
Okay.
What would Gwen know about? Gwen would know about using black onyx for like spells or anything.
So immediately, what I can tell you is, they're definitely onyx is a valuable gem. It's not used in so diamonds are used pretty exclusively for like resurrection magic, for restoration specifically.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to onyx, at least according to what you know about geology, a little bit of your stone cutting here, you do know that onyx is sometimes used in certain necromantic rituals, though the specifics, you might want to consult some texts. So I will let you know, the reason I'm not letting you roll is actually due to what the DC would be on this one. Your guess, powerful necromancy, which kind of goes along with what you've seen. There are piles of ash around the room where those skeletons disintegrated previously.
We have a zombie with us, so.
You do have a zombie that he was tracking down.
Yeah, cool.
And if you're sharing that with the party, if you'd like, I can. Or if one of you all wanted to read this, we can share that with the audience as well.
We ran out of time to ask.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think that's. I was
That's
fair.
completely fair.
Cool. Well, in that case,
He's also super bound up.
right, but he's been extraordinarily helpful. So,
Did you still want me to smack him?
is it gonna make you feel better?
Oh, honestly, my heart's still pumping. I'm feeling great.
No, I meant like,
It is the powder.
has he been a good boss? Honest. Well, we're all here. Has he been a good boss?
Be candid, yeah.
Oh,
Give us the review.
I really work for Jared, but Jared ran away. I don't really care about Sorry, Robesy. I'm not. I just. They mainly have me carry the loot when we. Jared and.
I think that means he wants to slap him.
Well, he kind of was a real prick on the trip over here.
Go
Let's
for
do
it. Yeah.
We're not gonna stop you.
Just you turn over to the side. Okay, I'll sit down though. I don't want to piss y'all off.
Oh no, you're good. We're kind of cool with you actually.
He's like, okay.
So I'm gonna take this guy outside and let him go.
We're letting
Joseph?
You're letting go Joseph
Orwyn?
or Orwyn?
Orwyn.
No.
We're taking him to the authorities.
You want to turn?
Do you
him
need
in,
a
or-
deception check? The DM, don't know what's happening.
If anybody thinks I'm not, yeah, I would probably need a deception
We're
check.
taking him to the authorities.
Wait.
I trust you. I want to check out this basement.
Yeah, I also want to
You
check
want to
out
open
the
the
basement.
pull open the trapdoor?
Yeah, with my mage
Y'all are
hand if I
gonna
can.
turn him into the
I don't
authorities.
trust it.
first?
Ooh.
Actually, before we go release him here, you can read this.
Yes. So, do you mind if I pause on this?
Totally.
Because this is an interesting
I'm
one.
just keep passing it around.
Because we have more people and we have folks in the audience. Do you mind if I read that to the? Would you okay if
I
I
haven't
read
read
that?
it yet.
Oh, I've literally passed it to her. Passed to her.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, this got in water.
No, it was the cave. It was
It's
moist.
drool.
They'll do.
I'm going to read this in a relatively neutral voice, as you're not aware of who wrote this.
Yeah.
But you might be. Orwyn, according to my divinations, Sample 11 is attempting to return to Walnut Hill. Bring your crew to retrieve it. Carguts can provide you access to a hideout just south of the village. The subject's escape is due solely to your incompetence. I am sending the serpent with you to observe and ensure that you do not fail me again. Return my property to me, leave no witnesses, and use the stone only if necessary. Do not disappoint me. And at the bottom is a beautifully penned, ornate Z, which perhaps could be related to Zarathal. There's really no way to tell. I don't want to keep this. I'm going to give this to you guys, and if anyone wants a copy of their own later, I can print out more.
Makes sense why that chump had this crazy
I recommend someone with a binder.
snake.
Yeah, I'll put it in.
You haven't looked too much about it. Whatever this thing is, it's made of a really strong metal that seems pretty valuable. It was a magic, complicated snake thing. It's probably worth a good chunk of change. But it does appear that the magic that was animating it specifically has been destroyed by you, effectively, mechanically speaking, killing it. But it does appear unblemished, the actual snake itself. You were mentioning you wanted to open that trapdoor?
Yeah.
And you wanted to use your mage hand?
Yeah, I don't trust
And I will say, the mage hand is enough to lift the trapdoor as it opposite of what I'm trying to say. As you reach the mage hand over, it's not enough to lift up the actual door itself. The door itself heavily weighted and thick piece of wood, but as it grabs on and begins to pull, you hear shink, shink. But the mage hand is not dissipated. You kind of tug for a moment later, shink, shink. There's a sound coming from the actual ring itself. If anyone would like to observe that, kind of peering over, you can see the spectral blue, because your mage hand invisible actually with with your feet? Mm-hmm. So where the hand would be, you'd know where the hand is, but the handle itself, every once in a while, 3 small blades, shink, shink, come out of the actual ring. You notice they're kind of curved slightly and would, if your hand was there, be impaling, arcing this way, and this way through your hand.
Ouch.
You got that rope?
Yeah.
Can we use that rope to? Okay. I'll
Have the-
tie it
you
on
have
there
the
with
rope?
the mage hand, and then you can pull it open.
Pull it open, shink, shink, just the tiniest, easily reparable bit of damage. It's magic, just pushes aside some of the fibers, the rope comes out, you're good, able to pull it aside. It just appears it was trapped, would have taken a little bit of damage there. Oh, welcome, Toffee, glad to have you. Now, excellent, very good way of using the mage hand to resolve this trap. With this open, you do see what looks to be a staircase down. Let me just do a real quick check that I've been continuing to make here. You don't see anything, but as the light kind of cascades down this little staircase, it's kind of one of those the ladders that are they're a little bit slanted, so they're almost somewhere between stairs and ladders. Going downwards, you do hear a small and then hear a pitter-patter of feet as something below has run away.
If I hear that and it's
Yes,
dark
sir.
down there, I'm casting dancing lights in the space.
Do you know what's
Yes.
down there?
Nope, didn't. I actually have not been allowed in the room. I just saw I just saw Orwyn come in here. I wasn't allowed in here. We had to stay and sleep in the cave, and we were told there was a barracks, but we didn't get to bring bedrolls. It's again.
Sounds really tough.
He's kind of a real bastard.
I'm gonna go take him
Me?
outside.
Down?
Everyone's gonna go.
Let's
with
go
it.
down.
Let's go down.
Yeah.
Is she gonna shoot him?
What?
You're letting him go, right?
We're going down into this hole.
Bye.
Join them. Go join them.
Silas, I have low
You want the
HP.
Not today.
Okay.
You owe me
Whoa.
an explanation. I'm not okay.
Okay. As the rest of the party, you all want to begin descending the ladder and heading into whatever's underneath this base.
Blissful
I'm
ignorance.
staying in the room.
I have to ask. Oh, you're staying in the secret room waiting for...
Her to come back.
Okay. You kind of walking with this wizard. Mm-hmm. He's effectively at like 1 HP.
I wasn't gonna bring Gwynwen with me either, but
Okay. So I have to ask. So are you forcing the issue? Are either of you forcing the issue?
If you don't want me to come, I won't come. But
Okay. Begin walking past. Then you get to Sulu, who's just he's just past where the battle was. He looks up to you. Kind of this horrified, this zombie. He's standing slightly taller than he was before. Comes over, looks at Orwyn up and down. He did this. He did this to me. Just kind of angry, whispering, "He did this to me." You kind of hear it, the wind coming through broken vocal cords, going to lungs that have long stopped working. Anger on this father's eyes, but nothing feral. Oh, if you're leaving before he continues, that's
not
okay.
leaving.
I'm gonna make a real quick check. There's not really rules for this. Okay. The last thing you hear, as you kind of are walking through here with Sulo, the last thing Sulo says before going to go and find Silas is that his son will see you in chains. And then he begins shambling around the bend.
You have a choice to make the right choice.
I don't like to make the right decisions. I want to make the best decision.
Well, you're not doing something that so we talked about this a little bit out of character, where we want to be on the alignments, as well as what kind of tone we want for this. You would know. The decision you're making is a question between how Calisters handle things and how the House of Summer wants things handled.
Right. It's doing the good thing versus doing the right thing.
Right. And that's actually the order of this: more Callister versus the House of Summer, who you serve. Are you doing what is happening? Are you going to take him to the marshal that you saw earlier, put him in chains? Or are we going to have another Old Yeller style conversation? Coco, come here.
No, don't pull
Come here.
aside after Old Yeller.
Yeah, don't call the dog after the Yeller comment.
All right.
Yeller.
Oh, yeah.
I like how floppy her little paws are all the time. But
Yes, tell me, how evil are you about to be?
we're going off script entirely. I don't have very much strength, so I can't really necessarily shove him into a wall, but I am gonna try to. And
Remember, it's the way that we play. When you are reduced to 0 hit points, you do receive a level of exhaustion.
Yeah.
So he is exhausted. He's also physically more frail than you. Putting him at the wall. Fear. You take in his spell book, his spellcasting components. He's gagged. He has no power.
You have the opportunity right now. I know. But what happened with Sulo just now, where he talked out loud, when an hour ago He made grumbling noises and occasionally went feral. That is astounding. That is amazing. Do you know how to fix this? Do you know how to reverse what you did?
Kind of looks at you. Are you going to ungag him for him
Yes.
to talk? I do not have the power to return the dead to life, but the experiment... Sulo. My master has been experimenting with more potent forms of necromancy and finding ways to turn low undead into greater undead. And perhaps greater undead into something the realms have yet to see.
Don't like that.
In theory, I suppose if you found a servant of the divine, they might be able to find a way to restore him, though there is little academic research to indicate what happens to a soul that has been torn in such a way.
Orwyn?
He told you what you wanted to know.
From one mage to another. That is absolutely fantastic.
Oh my god! He kind of looks at you. Are you being deceptive at all?
No.
You're just wearing it on your face? The possibilities.
It's incredible. And I can't do much necessarily I cannot obviously let you go, and I am not going to kill you. I'm going to take you to the marshal in town, recognizing that you are a powerful wizard and this is a very small village.
Kind of looks at you, contemplates this for a moment. You can see he's definitively reading his face for a moment, though it isn't mind, it's not telepathy. Right. He's weighing his odds if he thinks he can manage to get out. He doesn't have a spell book.
Right.
But he's smart.
Right.
Maybe he could lie his way out of things.
Mm-hmm.
Bribe a guard.
Mm-hmm.
And are you going to go along your way and go deliver him to the marshal?
Yep.
Okay.
There's a smug, shit-eating grin on Silas's face somewhere out in the world.
Just,
Good one today.
I mean,
just to let you know, the sergeant's name is Beckett Voss. You don't need to write that down. It's not necessarily important.
well, I am going to have to because I will be coming back to Walnut Hill.
Great.
So
Beckett Voss. And Beckett, in case you're curious, has 2 T's, and so does Voss has 2 S's.
And I was a little too obsessed with what I was listening to. Quick recap, he's trying to see what happens like with creating more and more advanced...
Low undead are normally entirely unintelligent creatures.
Yeah.
He's finding... The way he described it... Now, he didn't give you any details of the process. But finding ways to make low undead, so make skeletons, maybe zombies, maybe skeletons, maybe other things, that are intelligent and much stronger. You saw before that this zombie was actually resisting magical effects, which you're certain there's a sort of magical construct that does that,
yeah.
But you can't place it quite yet. It seems that they're imbuing other forms of magic into necromancy.
I mean, very consistent though. That is very cool research. It's not good research, but it's cool research.
Okay.
It has lots of practical applications, and I'm gonna go drop him off.
To make things a little bit more convenient, would you mind if we wait, like you're dropping him off and then the party descends into the lower levels?
Sure. That doesn't really matter.
In that case, when we get back from our break, just gonna be a couple of minutes here, we're gonna descend into the depths below and see what exactly is this lair that he was hiding out in. All right, we'll be back in a few minutes for more of Stories to D4. Alex, why don't you take us out? Welcome back. So before we get back into our session, I do want to make a really quick announcement for something that we're very excited about. We've been working on for the past few weeks, and we're really excited to bring to you. We are going to be having this Halloween a small, spooky little one-shot. There's going to be, it's a slightly different cast. Some of the players you see here will be joining us, as well as a guest who's yet to appear on Stories to D4. And for those of you who are just dropping in to say, hey, we're very glad to have you, this one shot is going to be sort of standalone. You don't need to have known the lore beforehand. It's going to be all new player characters, and it's all going to be its own self-contained adventure. So if you would like to come join us on Halloween and have a spooky time, we'd love to have you. Now, we're in a bit of a safe zone here. You've successfully essentially disarmed the trap. If you've pulled and propped open this trap door, you've gone and given away this Orwyn, this mage, to the marshal. The marshal very clearly states, hey, you gotta go, there's danger right now, but you come back and explain this later.
Great.
So go talk to him over the course of the next maybe the next few days, come give him some more information. Additionally, did you bring car guts? This is we're kind of doing some wrap up. Car guts as well?
Yeah, I would have just.
Can we keep Yosef?
Yeah, Yosef is fine. We're not turning him in.
Awesome.
We'll turn him
All right.
as well.
Like he's a
Do you
pet.
want some work?
Can we keep him?
Yeah, more work is always helpful.
Awesome.
What was your?
Yeah, that's where I just transitioned to too, Alex.
Hey,
More
there's a
work?
farm
It's a
that can
circle,
help.
but like a weird circle.
A circle?
A freaky circle.
I can't.
Freaky circle. Yes.
I can't draw a circle. Do I need to draw a circle to work for you?
No.
No.
But we will.
We'll give you a stencil. It's fine.
Actually,
Well, you have to draw like the face first, and then erase most of the face, and it's really hard to draw a perfect face.
what were you making?
Oh, they
Wait, we're not even up there. We're like.
Oh, sure. Well, one thing we did say during the break is because Jake would have known about an individual, known about the stone because he was opening that, I am actually going to allow an additional question. Some of the players had asked, and I am nothing if not a lenient dungeon master. That's not the term I would normally use for me. Did you have a question? I believe that several of you had kind of agreed on a question beforehand. Clella, would you like to lead this?
Oh god, the pressure. It's getting to her.
Now that you put me on the spot, like my mind is blank.
Oh, no, I didn't have a question. I'm just a happy elephant.
It's Oh my.
Look, you're the one pointing at people.
I am actually, if they don't remember,
I don't
going
have a
to
question.
continue moving on.
No one. I wouldn't have a
I
question.
wasn't part of this conversation.
It was about.
Same.
3 of you were.
Do you want the
Really?
answer? Why his magic didn't work?
Yeah, why is magic? I'm sorry.
That was the conversation.
It was. I wanted to be a dick.
You put me on the spot.
I know. What you got during
My brain
that
went to peanuts.
was what he thought about was that the snake must have been damaged. In some way, some portion of his magical powers were lost when the snake was harmed. Give me an Arcana or History check. And I actually would allow the party to all roll this, though you can only roll one or the other.
like collectively.
Each of you may roll this.
Oh, you know I love those history checks.
It doesn't matter what I roll.
Doesn't matter because I got a 9.
I love it.
You don't know. Elle,
I rolled a nat 1.
what's that total?
It's an 8.
You don't know.
19 Arcana.
19 Arcana.
14 Arcana.
Okay, 19 Arcana is the win. Anything on hit? What's the best history?
11 history.
11 history is one success because of the 19 Arcana over here.
Put me in a box.
There are a subset of magical users, individuals who have been influenced by the weave. Now, sorcerers have in their blood or somehow in their actual corporeal body have been imbued with magic and innately create spells the way a dragon creates flame. It's part of them. Wizards study the weave, learn of various incantations and ways to create magic, like a science. Artificers do something very similar, mages as well. There's a form of, as you would know, illegal magic in Elts. There are 2 forms of dark magic that share a very similar commonality. But this in particular is a form of magic, or a form of creature known as a witch's familiar. It is a magical beast, typically a small one, that functions similar to a mage's familiar. Though, what a familiar is a liaison between a patron, like a warlock would have, and a servant. So it appears that the magical snake that you have here, the now no longer magical metal husk that it appears to be mostly hollow, carrying it's heavy still, but
kind of the way you're touching it, tapping it, feels like some sort of mostly hollow construct. It appears to have been a conduit from a powerful, dark magical source to provide witches' spells to this here Orwyn. So he was a wizard, but he wasn't as powerful. So when he tried to cast Fireball and wasn't a witch anymore, the spell failed.
Okay.
I let that have a delay each time he tried to cast a spell after its death. I had him roll a higher and higher DC check until the magic was gone.
That's pretty.
Well, he did it very, very quickly. I rolled poorly. But so he's a witch, and you would identify that is dark pacts. So pacts with dark magic, which is very loosely defined and implemented by people with specific goals very often, is illegal in Elts. And the Vorax Empire, and actually most places, witches are bad. Meaning that for the most part, you hear horrible rumors. How you individually feel about them may not align with this, and it may be the case that there are people who are witches who are absolutely fine. Some of them may even fight the patriarchy, and all that is to say that Orwyn was a wizard and a witch.
Girl boss.
Absolutely.
Girl boss.
Oh, and yeah, witch isn't gendered in our setting.
Out of like character.
Sure.
Are witches more or less common than warlocks?
So a
Or is it just sort of... 'cause
the
there's not a
distinction
gender divide,
of a
like
witch and a
is
warlock?
just not a warlock that's
A witch
a
has a
feminized
familiar that grants them spells.
Okay.
A warlock doesn't necessarily.
Okay.
A warlock has made a deal with a powerful thing. That's all a warlock is. There are warlocks that are illegal, like making a pact with a fiend or a demon, or a devil. Those are bad. There are warlocks that aren't a problem, which is you made a pact with an angel. No, you're probably a holy hero. Yes, you're a warlock, but you're not doing dark magic. Witches, you don't, with those rolls, with that low history check, you don't know if you don't know really, witches are, there's a lot of evil things that'll send creepy magic animals and grant people powers.
Take people's fingers.
But you do know at the very least, there are neutral witches. There are maybe spirits of the forest that will manifest in the form of some small creature and grant healing abilities to a hedge witch.
I was gonna say
Do
hedge
we
witches
have-
are probably okay.
Hedge witches, in fact, actually I should mention this here. Here the term hedge witch, you know that they exist in the shepherds.
With that said, are there any... We've traveled for a second. It's a low history check. I'm not expecting an
What's
answer.
up?
Are there any rumors around a witch recently? Any
You
popping up?
you have not heard the word witch recently.
Okay.
Except some drunken patrons at a carnival insulting one of the people who decided not to serve them more alcohol.
I don't think they said witch in that situation.
Oh, Coco will be in the Halloween stream, just to confirm. I'm okay confirming that early. Coco will be here.
Coco
Does she
is
have a
the
costume?
Oh man,
Wait, I have
I
many
will go
hats. I
find
can
one.
bring one over.
we're gonna have to.
I have a lot.
I even know who Coco is going to play. We'll talk about it later. Back into session.
And
Okay, jumping back into like where we are now as the party begins to descend the ladder, you had heard a small and a small pitter patter of steps. It does smell like a smaller creature. Definitely no one bigger than a dwarf, but it was definitely a humanoid voice gasping, and then running further in. As you descend into the first lower level here, where you are looks to be at the end of a long room. On each side are actually on each side as well as in the center of the room, there are rows of beds, 6 each, so 18 beds adorn this room. Small chests, which some of them are open, some are closed here. You said you were using dancing lights. Was that what you said earlier?
Light up the room,
So
yeah.
that's the only source of light that's in here. But there are chests. The beds themselves they're not bunk style beds, but it does look somewhat militaristic. If any of you have been around a barracks for a town guard, it looks similar, although there are small pieces of evidence for trophies. There are leathers that have been draped over various beds. You can see one of the nearby chests that's opened has what looks to be a large skull from maybe a wolf in it. It doesn't. Something's odd about it, but checks and such when you want to do some investigating, maybe figure out what these things are.
On the far side of the room, you do see at what looks to be the far center, kind of peering through, those of you with dark vision would see that there is a large door. The door itself probably about 9 feet tall and is a double door. So there's one large door that's here, as well as a smaller door on the east and a smaller door on the west. So there's 4 walls. There's a staircase up. There's a door on each wall, and then you're in what looks to be a barracks.
I'm gonna light one of my torches.
Silas, you retrieved your torch from earlier. Not a problem.
I
Are we
sit
leaving
upstairs.
soon? Huh?
I still sit upstairs.
You're not coming down at all?
No, I'll keep watch. Worst case scenario.
Okay.
Did we?
You're up with Sulo. We can jump back every once in a while. If I will let you know beforehand, if you are staying up there, maybe things will happen, maybe things won't. That's okay.
Perfectly fine.
Feel free to interject at any point, though.
I did tell Silas that the name of the marshal was Beckett Voss, so that
Yeah, if someone
So
came
then-
and found you with 4 dead corpses, or 4 corpses,
There was a mild relief.
You
when
would-
heard the name of
it would be deeply uncomfortable to go through the trapdoor. You're physically capable of it, but you're probably going to really struggle with your shield.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna worry about it. Also, I don't know the next time a guard's gonna come through. Might as well keep watch.
You did come in through a winding cave, but okay.
Safe then sorry.
So what would you like to do that you're down here? You don't, with passive perception at least, you don't hear anything going on down here?
Did we get a sense of the direction?
A chittering. Oh, so you guys went down a staircase. You heard a voice from below. You were standing above. It was almost, you opened up, light shone down, and you heard a ah!
No, like
running.
doors closing or anything like that.
Kind of listening around. What are your passive perceptions?
Mine's
14.
11.
No one heard a door close. Kind of looking around the room.
I wouldn't have heard it then.
It does appear that the room on the right is cracked. It's not currently closed all the way. There are two. The left and right are small doors. The north door, the door in front of you, is the big door.
Gonna kind of like motion over to L, and I'll walk past that crack door, and once she's lined up with it, I'm gonna pull it open with Mage Hand.
Yeah. I'll line up. Like,
Oh my goodness! I haven't had a chance to make any
Pull it
extra
out?
rolls on here.
Squawk stays with Silas.
As you continue walking forward, can you make me a deception check real quick? You are trying to do a bit of it. I would call this a deceptive maneuver. I think that's reasonable. No, it's just him. Cool.
Deception.
Roll a quick insight. Oh no! Did you beat an 11?
Yeah, I got 13.
That's. Well, his stealth roll was incredible. You take a few steps past, and a creature thinks that you're gonna keep going, and its hiding spot is good. Before an invisible hand opens the door, and you see standing there, vivid green skin with what looks to be freckles that are this sort of like navy blue, standing about 3.5 feet tall, a small goblin backed up against what looks to be this counter, because it looks like there's a kitchen behind him.
I have like my sword up and
Adopt him.
No, we don't need to fight. No fight.
Is there any others?
What?
Is there anyone else on this floor?
No, why would there be anyone here? Why are you
Are
here?
you lying?
No. Well,
I think you can put the.
uh,
Hey,
well, hello?
what are you doing down here?
It's pretty dark.
It's dark, nothing lit, just hanging
You're not
out in
even
the dark.
Actively cooking.
Kind of opens what looks to be a bit of a leather
Easy.
jacket, and you see that as he
Easy.
pulls back, there's a
that.
small. It is horribly constructed. It almost looks like a tiny bird cage with a little wax candle lit that was fully closed as he opens and closes his jacket. It's just a little light that he uses to walk around.
Bozak has light with him.
Is Bozak? Is that your name?
Yeah.
I was told named Bozak. Bozak is still me.
All right. Prozac, what are you doing down
No, it's Bozak.
Sorry,
Wait.
my bad.
Looking like when he exposes the light, I think we can probably see more of
There,
him.
he's got blue freckles.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Does he
We're
look
adopting him.
normal for a goblin?
Give me a medicine check real quick.
Yeah, because the phrase like
He's a
I
goblin,
was told
not
my
a
name is Bozak is weird.
Let me clarify. He is
You were
not
told
a
you were told.
hobgoblin.
He's a little baby.
I mean, yes.
Hobgoblins, big. They're almost orcish like. We use the red, the typical red viewed orcish, powerful but intelligent hobgoblin.
It's only an 8.
Hobgoblins. Are
Only 8.
worthless.
Only one thing sticks out. This guy is kind of tilting back and forth as he's talking, and you think he might be like he's woozy from something. This guy looks like he's a little bit dizzy. Bozak doesn't mean any trouble.
Does Bozak have any friends around here?
What did you do?
Bozak's friends don't like when Bozak comes here.
Why?
They said I should listen to the aldermen.
Alderman?
That's like
The alderman is the guy who's in
weird-
charge of the town,
Yeah.
Walnut Hill.
Gotcha.
Are you from?
Yeah, buddy.
Uh-oh.
Bozak from Walnut Hill.
Wait,
Bozak don't know you.
can I lean in close and just his breath?
He is
Sniff it?
2 things you catch.
Okay.
First, Pete.
Nice.
Second, this is one drunk ass goblin, and he's been. Where did this goblin find whiskey? Specifically, where did this goblin find scotch?
In this room, there aren't any barrels, are there?
No, you're in a. There's just a barracks.
Bozak, how long have you? You're not with the guys upstairs?
There are more people upstairs.
There were some pretty
There
mean
were,
people
yeah.
upstairs.
How long have you been down here?
Bozak normally comes down every couple of days. Relaxes.
Is it every couple of days?
Bozak comes here. Bozak likes to come here nearly every day.
Yeah, I think
But-
so.
But waste is bad, so Bozak is good. Methinks that's fair.
Bozak? Why don't you point us to your supply?
No,
I want to share it with you.
We'll share.
Drink with friends?
Yeah.
Kind of covers his mouth, realizing
We won't
spend
tell.
time with friends.
yes, we're gonna spend
Turtle?
time together.
Turtle person?
He's
Wasn't he a turtle? The guy in town?
No, that was
Oh.
Quill.
That was Quill.
Wait, it's
Uh,
sneak a drink? It's not-
Completely misremembered.
So he's where he is this kitchen, which you see. The kitchen's kind of odd. There's like these
I didn't even write
long
down
since
that
dead
guy's name.
look like large pits for flame, and also there are these barrels with what looks to be. There's a barrel with what looks to be a bunch of silverware, forks, knives, cutlery, pots, pans. It's kind of strange. There's a bunch of things that have been haphazardly thrown in here that are very like normal sized for a lot of them sized for small folk, sized for gnomes and dwarves and such. But the rest of the stuff that's actually on the counters looks like it's much larger, maybe for something orcish in size. So like a large, medium. There's an inconvenient thing about describing things when there's mechanics for words. A medium-sized creature on the larger size is what this room was built for, but it looks like there's small-sized cutlery and other pieces of silver and metal.
Tell you what, Prozac. How about
Bozak.
Sure.
Bozak?
How about I make you a lovely drink, and you'll tell me about yourself and
Listening.
what you're doing down here. How's that sound?
I mean, I think we know what he's doing down here.
I want to add one more thing. You help me get out. I'm very hungry and have not been able to leave for a while.
Oh, we got food. help you out.
He kind of points downwards. The entrance is blocked.
Yeah, we can get you out of here.
Great. Then come with me. He kind of starts waddling past this tiny little goblin, big head, huge toothy grin. Well, some of the teeth are missing, but what's there is quite toothy and pointy. And waddling across the barracks, heads towards the large door. Kind of looks around. Don't stand in front of the door.
It's good to the side.
Kicks at the door from the side. A bolt of lightning arcs across the room, and then he opens the door.
Do you know who made this
Did
place?
anything like light up when he?
As
did
he
that?
does, looking around the room, you do notice for a brief moment, what looks to be this collection of crystalline orbs on the side of the room flicker, almost like a light bulb, but they're not struck directly, and they quickly die down once more.
I don't know. A bunch of hobgoblins seem to have lived here, but Bolzak don't care. They left behind the good stuff.
Do you have your wine?
I do.
Heading in what looks to be an ornate room. Above the door, you do see there is a massive, looks like some sort of reptilian scale with a red coloration to it that has been mounted at the top of the door. As the door is opened, inside you see this ornate room has a large table in the center, but you see lots of scratch marks on it. A bit of, small amounts of coin have been scattered across the top. It looks like someone got out of here very quickly, but the room is also caked in dust. Except over in the corner where it looks like there is a broken lock, an open chest, and several bottles of fine whiskey.
I'm gonna
Oh, go ahead.
recall Squawk. Write a message to Silas that says, "Want some whiskey? It's the good stuff." Put it in his little beak and then send him back.
Before he leaves, Squawk looks at you for a long moment, as if expecting an offer of something as well.
Get Squawk drunk. Get Squawk
I give him a little kiss on the head. And then I reach for the always people have for their familiar pocket jerky.
The pocket jerky?
Yeah,
It is known.
it is known pocket jerky. We've established pocket
It's a
jerky.
fact, yeah.
You can't
Yeah,
eat
yeah.
it, but
You give
it's
a
for
familiar.
pets.
No, in fact.
Looking straight chuffed, you see your bird fly out of the room.
Squawk is a carnivore.
Fly out of the room and go offer the message to Silas upstairs. It takes about 10 seconds to get up there. It's not a big deal. You send back an affirmation. Comes down.
Can I
Kind of puffs out his feathers, all proud of himself for a moment.
I give him another little kiss on the head.
Can I get pocket jerky?
Yes.
Squawk. You know we're buddies.
Looks up at his meanie.
Come on. It's been months.
A tiny peck of your finger. You don't take a point of damage, but just a little mark. Kind of wiggles his butt feathers at you, flies back over. And when he lands, with your permission, Victoria, he lands right at the top of this stiff, starch robe and rests. So where his head is, which, again, this raven actually has an obsidian, a piece of obsidian for a skull where his head would be, nestles and rests right where the gem lies when he's inert.
Yeah, I just kind of help.
You put it down and let him just
Help,
kind of,
hold
he's just
it
kind
up there.
of sitting and relaxing.
Freaking bird.
I can't wait to.
I have been asked by ECAT TX, Bulls. I'm Bulls.
I do appreciate that. Jake and I also have, I think, the same thought.
I can't say it out loud.
Just can't believe
Wait,
Connor and I.
I'm not very brave, and when people come for me, I yell "ack."
Do you and your friends just like
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were with me.
No, I thought it's okay. Yes, but
Yes.
there's something else that I thought.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It's just his name is Bulls. Bolz. His name is Bulls.
Prozac.
Well,
No.
Ack is his last name.
Yeah.
If you meet a goblin, his name is something.
correct my spelling?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a couple of the bottles.
We want to do this for a living, y'all.
I'm gonna take a couple of the bottles and then find like a glass or like a cup
This
or
is-
something.
Nice. It's also all written in Dwarven.
And I'm gonna act like I'm making some kind of fancy drink. Mm-hmm. All I'm doing is just pouring the whiskey into the mug. And
Ooh, you're aerating the whiskey between two cups.
Right. And then I'm gonna hand it to him, and I will use my last sorcery point to subtly cast prestidigitation on the thing and give it to him.
It's every session.
Oh God. Oh God.
You know what I was looking for?
No.
I couldn't find any poker chips.
Ah.
Inspiration. Incredible. You continue to amaze me, Connor.
There are no chips.
Right?
That's damn good.
Told you I'd make a tasty drink.
You know, Bowles probably should listen to his friends. The alderman's getting suspicious and was asking how Sam and the other teens got their hands on some whiskey. Maybe Bowles should send some bottles with you. You get Bowles out of here. I don't have to fight a monster.
Great.
Sounds good to us.
Yeah.
Sounds like a decent deal.
If
Is there an exit from where you came from? Because my normal entrance is blocked.
What happened to your normal entrance, though? Actually, curiosity.
Bowles came to have relaxing time
Yes.
in Old Chieftain office.
Yes.
He looks around.
Hobgoblins.
Okay.
Bowles slept for a long time. Bowles went downstairs to go to exit. Strange rock monster.
Oh, yeah.
It's very smooth. Kind of looks like Knight Helmet for face.
Can I even potentially attempt to figure out what he's talking
You
about?
want to see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of starts sauntering over. He does have the mostly empty bottle. Like it's so there were four nearly full bottles. Actually, there were 4 full bottles, and the one you grabbed to pour out was nearly empty. Just taking swigs from it as he's walking. He is out of it. He is having a great time. But as he continues on his way down, you do see that he opens up the other doorway, which has a staircase leading down. About halfway down that staircase, when it goes down and then rotates 90 degrees and goes, turns 90 degrees and goes down further, he stops you and kind of peeks around the corner.
Can you see in the dark?
Can I peek around the corner?
Yeah, a few of us can.
Scooby-Doo style over him?
Yeah.
I will describe what you see. The room before you appears to be some sort of cellar. Some sort of series of cells. On either side, you see what looks to be 2 cells with bronze bars. It's hard. It's actually not hard to make out for you, but for some of you it would be. But there are several skeletons in the actual cells themselves. Whenever this place was abandoned, they left whoever was inside here.
Good energy in here.
There are
vibes.
these people. They appear to most of them still have like full-on outfits on. One of which you would notice is wearing full plate. There. Now, I will mention there is a. Okay. There is a halfling in full plate in one of these cells, in the third of the cells. You're able to see from there.
I would
Gwyneth's interested in
I
that.
forgot.
Gwynwen, you're a medium-sized creature.
Yeah.
You just have to do quite a bit of resizing for that.
I forgot that I'm not a cleric. I was like, I want the full plate.
Put it on the wizard.
See how well you cast
Additionally,
spells.
at the end of the stairs, there's about a 2-foot gap where water is flowing, just some sort of underground stream. You can't tell, even with your dark vision, how deep the water is. It's not moving fast, but it does completely disconnect the stone where you're standing from the floor of the next room. You could very easily, DC 5, hop over this little gap, or if you're being slow and cautious and taking a moment, there's no failure chance. However, on the far end of the room, where you see some more water is dripping through this small size, probably 3.5 foot in diameter, hole in the wall, presumably this entrance, there is a resting creature. It is a quadruped. The top of it appears to have, you're still in dark vision, so I'm gonna avoid color. It has a smooth shell on the top of it that extends from the rear of its body all the way down to the front. A seam where what looks to be a mouth is, and 2 small slits where a nose would be. Underneath the part that's this upper material, which you can tell is very smooth, is craggy rock-like limbs, 4 of them, each ending in these nubby toes with bladed claws. The creature is slumbering at the moment. It does not appear to have been disturbed by you all. one bit.
I can't see anything, so I'm just like,
I will describe it to you.
It doesn't mind the light.
Has that always been here?
No, I woke up and it was here.
Oh,
And now Bolzak has nowhere to go.
do I have any idea of what this is? Like,
Do you want to look at it? Or if you looked at it?
yeah.
When you were about 13, you traveled to the capital. There you saw a circus that was going on and decided you were going to sneak out and go show that you could ride the magical monsters as well. And if were it not for your dear friend Ismini, I believe you would have died that day. This is a creature. Would you like to tell me what it's called?
Seems like a
I
common
don't remember
story.
the
it's a Bulette.
what?
Bullet.
Yeah.
Bullet? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. There's the person who created it says it's pronounced boulet, and no, I'm not gonna use that one.
Look,
None of
all
us
I
are.
remember
Yeah, I always say bullet
is
because that's,
climbing over that fence with all the confidence in the world.
It is a-
The next
there's a
thing I
metal
know,
shell.
Wizards yelling.
So it's a elite.
there's a metal shell on the
Yes.
top, and then like it's not actually rock, but a thick hide on the underside. It's roughly it's like a hippo in size, only its jaws are much sharp. It's just sharper, pointed, almost beak-like
Why did you
apparatus.
look at me when he said hippo?
Yes,
No, I'm just saying.
bullets are strong.
We fought
Yeah.
them before.
It was.
Yeah.
May I please reach into my pouch?
I mean, not
Yes.
in this camp.
Additionally, he does mention it doesn't seem to care about the light, and he opens up, and the rest of you are able to see. As he's doing this, the beast does not react to the light.
Could I take out the orange lizard pine cone?
Kind of look at it. The orange lizard does not appear to have any of this metallic smooth surface on it whatsoever.
Okay, put it
What,
back.
whatever you seem to be looking for, it's just from a festival. It's probably not important. You put it away.
So,
I learned my lesson the last time.
They are strong.
can I ask
We had a short rest.
Ozak,
Yeah.
I haven't had resources.
has it moved since you've got, or did you just see it and leave, or has it come after you?
I tried to hop over the water and it woke up, tried to bite me.
Okay.
Bolzak did not like being bitten.
Just for clarification, it's on the other side.
It's on
of
the
the
other
stone?
side of that. It appears that it's not reacting to light, but it reacted once he stepped on the stone in the room that he was in.
I think I
Gotcha.
have whiskey on the brain because I think that's where my brain went whenever I thought about the creature.
You could give it whiskey. No.
I,
That
Blow it
seems
up.
like a risky whiskey.
you know,
move.
I am not one for caution, but I think
We know.
we should leave.
Just close the doors and leave?
Yeah, I think this is the case. This is the one time you will ever see me advocate for let's just close the door
For today?
Let's leave.
For today.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Tell
for
the
today.
tell the.
Could always come back
No,
tomorrow and
I don't
fight
want
it.
to tell the guards about it.
Oh no! We'll let some like hapless person wander in here.
Oh, I meant
No,
us
not even
tomorrow.
that.
I mean,
Just-
we're gonna cave in.
I don't want
the
them to
other
ruin
entrance.
the whiskey stash.
But we
It's a
just
dry town. What the hell's up with
we'll
that?
take it with us.
No.
I mean, you know it's a dry town.
No. We
Yeah.
we teach bowls.
Yes, Bowles is me.
Yes, we teach bowls.
Miss Bowles is I.
Yes, there you go.
He grins at you. You now see a couple of iron teeth.
So we teach bowls the new way in, because I think that everybody, if they're gonna live in Walnut Hill, that people who need it should have a place they can go for silence and solitude.
Secret pub.
Yes.
Exactly.
Speakeasy.
Speaking hard for Bowles.
So walk right into that one.
Can we give the DM inspiration?
Come on.
Can I ask Bulls, where does the tunnel lead behind the monster?
Have to it go to underground stream. I swim upstream, get to water on surface. Bowles great swimmer, not when relaxing though.
Not when relaxing.
Is this stream maybe surrounded by like?
He kind of describes it. It appears that there's a stream just a little bit further south.
Oh, I didn't know if it was a sewer.
No, he's not. He's not saying
It's
it's
a
a sewer.
stinky stream?
This is a sewer themed campaign.
No, and as he describes it, it doesn't seem that he and his friends aren't exactly villagers. They're goblins who live nearby, but they're not raiders. They're thieves.
But they're kind of like listening to the aldermen still.
Right, because they still go into town to like buy grain.
Interesting.
I see.
Goblins, not they are people.
Yeah, I remember our previous.
Goblins are people.
I'm not a wizard.
We leave the creature alone. We leave some of the stash here.
Yes.
We show him the other exit. We maybe ask him to ignore some things on the way out.
You could also, he's pretty drunk. He's like, might want to take a nap. If you want to take some time, clean things up, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
They have beds here.
Yeah.
He stays here.
Dead bodies in the bed.
No.
That's horrific.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
I am not necessarily usually the one to advocate for the decisions I'm going to advocate for.
I don't want to attack the bull.
I don't think that it should be here.
I think we should do a long rest and then fight it.
Silas is still upstairs, so don't try anything to yet.
Is Yosef up with Silas? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yosef? I don't want to go down there.
I don't blame you.
Even with the note about the whiskey?
I mean, I told him
No, I mean,
about
I'll take some whiskey.
Yeah, if you want to go get the whiskey,
No.
I can't stop you.
It's dark.
It's dark. I don't personally fit that well down there, and it's
Turning over a new leaf.
You have any direction you're gonna go after this?
Somewhere not in the business end of a knife.
Okay, fair. There's
What?
I had an idea for Yosef. It's okay. I can't. I'm not there.
So I
I
don't.
hired him.
Right. Can you drive a carriage?
Yes. You could hire him as a...
That's why I hired him.
There are things called hirelings. You're allowed to do that.
Meaning,
He already
I
agreed to it.
appreciate your candor, but I don't think we can deal with whatever that is.
I
That
think it's
looks
funnier to leave it here.
horrifying.
funnier is not the word.
You're not
You,
here.
you would know that you're at least 30 to 50 feet underground at minimum. So this sort of, it's definitely some sort of terrestrial burrowing creature. It's unlikely, if it had been going to the surface and doing stuff, you would have heard about it.
Right, but it hasn't yet. But maybe it will. That's like
It could.
Isn't this?
And it's also what you would know. Technically, its shell is a very useful magical reagent.
that's another problem.
Is meaning. We are tired. We've had a lot of fights today.
I wasn't suggesting today.
And technically, this is this creature's sort of natural habitat.
Tell you what, we put a pin in it, and we'll
circle
get back
back.
to it later.
You
Yeah,
put
circle
a pin
back.
in the bullet.
Who votes on circling back? Quickly.
Bowles votes for nap.
Pretty tired.
Great.
I go take nap.
I wasn't saying we would do it today, but okay. I agree. We can address it later.
Right. No, I think in general the idea is, yeah, we're gonna nap before we do anything. We're not sure if we're going to do it. They're not sure if they're gonna do it or not.
Yep.
I'm ready if you are. Yeah. What? I normally end up doing memorization, but the bullet one, it's got an ability on it I need to read.
I think we're attack first, ask questions later type of people.
No, I
Cast grease.
Some of us are.
cast grease.
Wait, tell me, that's
Fail.
the idea. We cast grease on the bullet.
I've had
we
character development since then.
Yeah, it's like a dog on hardwood floor.
Okay.
No traction.
Oh, that's so cute, though. We could adopt the bullet.
No.
I'll let you know. That'd be an exceptionally difficult thing to do.
I still have a scar from the first time.
From one of its claws.
Yeah.
Well,
Bowles is asleep. He went on one of the beds in the barracks and is fully passed out.
I was gonna teach him how to get out and back in if he wants to come in the other direction.
Just leave a note like pinned to his chest.
With directions
Like-
and a map.
Bowles can't read.
No.
Right, but
We would draw the map.
I want to run an experiment though.
Uh-huh.
Can you open the trap door from the inside?
Yes. It's
Okay.
not trapped on the inside.
But he'd be able to push it open.
Looking it over, taking some time, it's pretty apparent. If you were wearing metal gloves, you'd be safe opening it. It's not. It's hard. It's sharp. It's not hard force. And so if you were wearing gauntlets, perhaps if you were like a hobgoblin raider who was wearing splint mail gauntlets, you'd be fine.
Yeah. I'm really upset that
Just
I
leave
thought
it
to
open,
take the
too.
rug.
Additionally, in the note, you were told that Karguts is the one who revealed the location of this hideout, though this hideout appears to have been abandoned for a number of years.
Yeah.
We could just always leave the trapdoor open.
Yeah.
Fine.
That's fair.
I'm sure you'd see the light and figure it out.
Yeah. This place is not very big.
Yeah.
It's big for a house, but
And I know from experience that after a night of drinking, you're more sensitive to light, so you're gonna notice it.
Bull's hangover. Hate light.
No. You're not worried about him dying by you leaving him here. If you guys want to go rest, maybe go to the Little Baron, talk to Sibo for a while. Or you could go rest at the Tenorman.
Yeah, like
House.
anywhere
I'll
else.
I'll sleep here before I go to the.
Yeah.
I don't really want to sleep like right next to the bullet.
I have,
like
I have to go back to the marshal.
It's too big to go up the stairs, by the way. Just to clarify, it's too large for the staircase.
you went to the marshal?
Yeah, to drop off Orwyn.
Okay.
I have to go back and explain kind of what happened for us to be in possession of Orwyn.
How's the painting holding up, by the way?
You left it at the end. I have no idea how the painting.
No,
No, we
we
did.
No,
We brought it
it's
with
in a
us.
tube.
Oh no, we did bring it with us.
And you were
Sorry.
carrying it.
It's
the corpses are at the.
You didn't like
sorry.
crush it.
Just
when
wanted
you
to
knocked
check
over,
how
right?
you're feeling. Really, is more my question.
Out of character? I haven't had to make a roll. In character?
As a reminder, so I will verify this. This could have been my mistake. I had thought, because we explicitly talked, I know I talked to you in character last session, how when you were carrying it, you weren't experiencing that adverse effect.
Right.
I didn't think you handed it back. If you had,
Oh.
I need you to make me a bunch of
Okay.
Constitution
I may
saving
just
throws
be
or die.
I may just be misremembering.
It was heavy, right?
I probably have it then.
Still
Right. It,
It felt magically heavy for
Carry-
when to carry it.
carrying it, I will let you know, testing it out, at the very least for the two of you. You don't know. You guys haven't tried it. The two of you carrying it for a certain amount of time and failing those con saves is going to give you points of exhaustion that stack. You're not experiencing that particular effect.
Yeah. Okay. I just was probably misremembering.
You've got a tube, a map tube on your back. Scroll, like a scroll case.
Forget what I said.
I'm
Excited.
tired.
Great.
We have to go.
Are you okay?
We're doing great, bud.
How are you doing, by the way?
How you feeling?
Horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sound.
What's up?
Also, DM is horse a little
You
bit.
sound pretty normal.
I want to see if maybe we can do a little bit of
Almost.
bone setting, like kind of like wrap him and kind of.
Oh god, it'd be a medicine check if you're trying to fix the zombie
I'm
a
not
little
trying
bit.
to fix it, but I
You
want to
put a
kind of like
cloak
hold
on
him
it.
together a little bit more.
Sure.
Put some chest seals on his.
Believe that-
Yosef is horrified.
That'd be a
Don't judge.
That'd be a 16.
With the 16, you're able to. The biggest thing you did is you could even grab one of the shirts from one of these chests here with the hobnail. It's a little big. Putting some clothes that aren't that haven't been rotting in a coffin, presumably.
Yeah, I was basically just like, can I like maybe some of the more open stuff just wrap it?
Might help with the smell. Well,
Yeah, I kind of want to fix this somehow.
Before we go, can we do like a preliminary pass through the stuff? Just make sure like we're not missing like some secret.
You're gonna give me a big old investigation check.
Yeah, I just love making sure we're not missing some like stowed away magic item.
Yeah.
Go look at that skull that you mentioned that we saw earlier. That was.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be a nature check.
15.
A 15 for investigation. Couple things I can give you. It looks like now it'd be a lot of weight, and 15. You don't spend a lot of time looking through it. Some of that cutlery and silver might be actual silver. It's a lot. There's over 100 pounds of stuff worth to sift through. If you want to take that and look through, maybe there's some valuables inside.
Local, like, it's to stimulate the local economy. It's fine.
I just want to take one bottle of that dwarven whiskey and pocket that, and then I'm good to go.
Okay, in case you're curious, that is worth 25 gold pieces.
It's more than
nice.
one bottle.
No.
I just
Did
want
you
one.
put
You
the-
can take
There are
one.
four. There were four remaining. There were 4 bottles. Each
I
of
didn't
one.
say it was for everyone.
No, it's
Cool.
We'll
Do,
grab
me.
Elle, are you grabbing? Oh, okay. Gwen, were you grabbing one?
Yeah, I'll leave the rest.
Is
Great.
any-
You're leaving 2 of them for him.
right
That's
for
fine.
bowls. I mean, he's
He could sell that and buy hundreds of
Contraband.
contraband items.
Did you put the obsidian stone in the party loot, or
I have it all written down here. I don't know what we're doing with the loot yet.
Right. We don't have to figure those specifics out.
I
in
tried to
session,
make
but
sure
if
it's
it's something
written
you
down.
specifically wanted, you'll need to study that to know what.
Right. I haven't
its
looked at it
deal
yet.
is.
I tried to make sure. We were doing it, sorry. That's all.
I would like to eventually spend some time.
Oh, it's a magic item.
Right. I want to spend some time.
Just to
with it.
clarify, looking through with that 15, you do find something kind of interesting. Unfortunately, there are some things, some rooms you're like, not really finding anything of note in here. It doesn't feel like, definitely is an evacuation. Looking through here, it looks like the people who are in here, hobgoblins, left, and it has to have been not just a couple years ago, probably more than a decade ago. You do find in the chieftain's room, there is a polished, ornate pitcher Now, it's made of some sort of white stone. It's worth 3 gold pieces. You also find a strange blue glass orb. It has crisscrossing lines of almost blue-white, and light reflects off of it in a very strange way. Those of you with dark vision perceive it as a blue orb in dark vision.
This is cool.
Anyone want to take a look at it?
I
Sorry.
It looks an awful lot like this.
Can I also spend an hour with that?
Yeah, you can spend an hour with that.
you can have it.
Let me go ahead and hand you this just for later.
I won't open it until.
No, you can open it. You're fine. Looking this over, there's something you've heard of before known as a drift globe, which is a sort of source of magical light. Ooh, Connor, you know what that is?
Yep.
Yeah, great. It's not, I'll admit, it's not as exciting as like a Vorpal sword. Close.
I was thinking Pearl of Power, so.
I want a vorpal.
It's not as powerful as a Pearl of Power, I'll admit.
Okay.
This is a non-attunement item, however.
So I
Additionally,
didn't have to spend an hour with it.
looking downstairs where the cells are, there appears to be a door that you're not able to get to without entering the room with the bullet. And it also appears that one of the corpses, the skeletons that are within the cells, appears to be wearing fine clothing and what looks to be some sort of like jewelry on their person. And again, there is that what looks to be some sort of halfling knight corpse. It's too tall to be a gnome and proportioned too much like a human. And around their neck appears to be a pan flute.
Destroy it.
Bards are
Who has detect magic, and is that being used during this investigation?
I would.
Were you helping?
Following. Yeah, I'm gonna be following.
The pan flute is magic.
Oh shoot.
The orb is magic.
Yep.
To answer an eyebrow I got earlier, the rug upstairs was not magic.
but it is cool.
It is nice.
I truly wasn't. My brain isn't in the place right
Really
now to think that.
Ties a room together.
Really brings in like the
Additionally,
bugs, the mildew.
the door to the next room that is downstairs is magic.
The one next to the bullet.
The one that you've not yet reached. Yes.
Right. So.
It's also the one Bolzak, I mentioned, has never gone in. Gave him the heebie-jeebies.
I am so excited about that door.
We're gonna
So.
fight the bullet.
Okay, here's the thing, right? So
Don't have to.
you've got us, and then us, room full of stuff. The halfling corpse is somewhere in one of these, and then
There are 4 cells, and then... Okay, here's the whole room. There are 4 cells. Between 2 of the cells is a walkway that leads to a door you haven't been in. Going further down into the room where the cells are is a crack in the wall where Bowles has been sneaking in and out, and a bullet is sleeping. Some of the water dripping out of that hole is just dripping on top, so it's just resting in the water.
and it's on our side of the wall, not the other side.
Of what wall?
The
Crack in. Okay, if this
crack
is,
in the wall is the other side of the stream.
okay,
The
but
stream by
so like it,
We can make a picture, because I'm misunderstanding what the confusion is. So let me
if
do
I
this
were
for
to
you.
walk towards the cages, could it bolt
The staircase, if you leave the staircase, you're in the room with the bullet. Instantly.
instantly? Great. Okay, that's all I needed. So I can't go get the pan flute.
We'll come back tomorrow after a long rest after we all have spells again.
How far away is the pan flute through the cell? If I'm standing in the
Precisely
the
10
doorway.
feet away.
Is
Oh my
it
god.
maybe 60 feet away?
So the
Is that
pan
in range?
flute is probably about 35, 40 feet away.
So can I use Mage Hand to get it?
How far is Machan's reach?
It's 60 for me.
Oh,
So what I'm hearing.
I'll tell you
Not
this.
for me.
Bard subclasses Thorns next.
What, this is a fun thing. Sometimes your players figure out... pass this terrible picture to Victoria. And I need that paper back, because it's got a stat block on it,
Oh,
just in case.
so this is us. These are
Now-
the cages, the weird door, the crack, and the bullets.
How much can you lift? 15 pounds?
With Mage Hand?
Yeah.
I think it's 10. I can double check.
Kind of reaching around, trying to get it off of this. Pan flute's only a couple of pounds. Halfling skull's only a couple of pounds.
10
Starts-
pounds, yeah.
Making a little bit of noise. The sound of it, the noise touching doesn't seem to matter. You begin. Give me a sleight of hand check. The motion of Mage Hand is you're miming with your hand what the invisible hand is doing.
7.
7. Ting. The pan flute touches the side of one of these cells as you're pulling it from across the room. Pan flute keeps moving. As it does, the bullet stands, charges forward, and crashes, shattering 3 of the bronze bars to one of the cells, and begins biting through some of these bars, eating the pieces of metal. Throwing to the side one of the bars.
Keep pulling it.
Keep pulling. It keeps coming. It keeps coming. Pan flute in hand, you're able to back around the corner. Again, you're in a pretty narrow, it's about 4 or 5 feet. Silas, I'm not certain you'd be able to walk. You'd be able to walk down these stairs. You'd have to dedicatedly carry yourself quite calmly. So you'd be moving at difficult terrain the entire way down. You physically can get there. It's difficult.
I'm leaving.
Go.
I'm leaving.
You're holding this magic pan flute.
Start playing it.
Run.
No, I don't know how.
Cool. Sorry. Detect magic actually picked up some stuff this time. Every time I've used it. I love having rituals.
Now, I will say, identifying the type of magic in this is difficult because it's several types of magic are cast on this.
Well, I can't cast identify, so.
I can, but I.
Do you have the pearl?
We've let you use identify in the past,
Yeah.
and this is something Victoria's brought up that is a very good point. Victoria just brought up. She didn't narc out a session. What I will ask is at some point in the future. So, do you have? I think it's 50 gold.
100.
It's 100 gold. Have you earned 100 gold yet?
Not yet.
Okay. So here's what I'll say. We often use Arcana to identify things because there's a lot of powerful items end up not being identifiable and as such. You can purchase that in the future. We're not going to go back and unidentify previous things, but you do need to get that. Diamonds are difficult to obtain. They're one of the rare. It's a pearl. Pearls are much easier to obtain. They can be purchased at cost.
I'm pretty sure it's a 100 gold piece pearl, but
I think you're right.
Yeah.
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 I remember.
You're not certain if you could buy one in Walnut Hill, but in even a medium-sized town, you'd be able to.
Early level with how little we had to cast identify because we didn't get a lot of
You paid people to identify in a previous
yeah
campaign.
because we didn't have at any one point some total 100 gold pieces.
Okay.
On our way back, I'll play around with it. I don't care.
Make a performance check.
The skull. I rolled a 16 on my nature.
This is the skull of a direwolf. It is big. The skull itself, it's about this wide, or this long. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So about this wide. It's a big wolf skull. Doesn't appear to be magic, but I mean,
It's pretty cool.
pretty sick.
Smeeny, do you want this? You seem to be collecting
It is cracked somewhat. No.
No, I was letting other people read it. I was
Yeah, this is a magic item.
Oh, I can read it. Cool.
Yeah, and I don't. It's not attunement, I don't believe. And so
No, I was just wondering if anybody else wanted it.
The skull or this?
it's a glowing. It's a glowing orb that can float along with you.
Well, I can see in the dark.
Right.
Whoever leads a party, maybe, but I mean, that seems very.
That would be
pointed
you.
at me.
I was. I can be. I'm always biased in any way, or because no one's unbiased. But
No,
Silas is a reasonable call.
Silas or I would be the right
It
person
would.
to have it.
It definitely should be one of the people without dark vision,
Front a party, back a party.
or someone who wants to cause a distraction with a glowing ball. Excellent. Well, you have that. Additionally, when you take a long rest, let me know. I'll let you do some identification. You working together with Gwynwyn, or if you're going to study that strange cauldron you found, that's
But we're
fine
definitely
too.
taking the cauldron with us.
Do you want my performance check?
I do.
I got 23.
Yeah.
With a 23, roll me a d4 and add your charisma. I'm gonna allow you to do something accidentally because we're about to take a long rest.
It's a 5.
You regain 5 hit points as you're blowing through this flute. You cast the spell Healing Word.
It's pretty good.
I didn't know you could play the pan flute.
Apparently I can.
You gotta start jamming out a little bit. It's not too
Anyone
bad.
can play the pan flute. It's if you can play it well.
Oh, I'm tone deaf.
Okay.
It's the one lesson I was.
You do feel like as you're playing through, it does feel like you're doing something's wrong about this. For future uses, do note this item has some restrictions and some asterisks. But for fun, you do feel your wounds start to close. Magical healing coursing through your body. You've never done that.
Nowhere near
Listening
that.
to the sound, does it sound like a normal pan flute?
It's very light and kind of bounces off the walls. It doesn't echo. It bounces happily across the place. It's very out of. It's so jarring with a hobgoblin secret base. Looking through here, all these trophies and tattered bits of what looks to be battle plans from old fights. This was definitely like a war outpost. There were some folks hobgoblins killing some people. Were hiding here.
Well,
You want to head out for the night?
Yes.
is
Taking
it like
Sula with
nighttime by now?
It's pretty late in the day. You could easily go have a nice dinner, go to bed,
I want to take Sulo back to his family.
I was gonna actually say we should go stay with them.
go to the Tendermans.
I mean, they have a decent barn.
Can I stop by on the way past the inn to collect the horses and bring it back to the barn?
We paid for it.
Paid for them to be kept.
Alright,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Also,
Yeah.
you can do that anyways if you'd like to.
I just don't want to leave the horses by themselves. It's been a
Yes,
lot
if
to
you-
Oswald.
Yeah. Yosef is coming, right?
Suppose?
We're staying another night then?
At the
I only paid for one day. I have to go back to the inn.
you didn't pay for the night.
I did pay for the night.
Oh, we'll go back in the morning.
Well, we're about to do a little bit of a jump over your long rest.
Cool.
Do you want to grab all your stuff from the inn and bring it to the Tenderman place? Put it by the barn?
Sure.
You take some of that out. The bodies, are you taking them to the guards and letting them know about them being bandits?
Right.
Or are we...
I have to tell Beckett Voss about what happened because we
Are
brought
you
him
mentioning
wizard.
Z at all? Or just, these are bandits who attacked us?
Yeah, they came and they attacked this farmhouse.
Here are the Manticore Exchange coins.
Yeah, and they attacked this farmhouse, and we were.
We don't have to
back
roleplay
then.
all of this out, so give me just a quick... I'm gonna allow a persuasion or a deception check. It's kind of so much mixture of truth and lies. You also have evidence here, so this would be with advantage. Get a nice little context here.
19 deception.
19. The marshal here seems pretty overwhelmed. This is not what happens here. Lets you know that he'll pass the report to the alderman, kind of get some information. During dinner that night, does pass by the Tenermans and asks some basic questions to the party.
Shove Sulo in a room.
Sulo's never brought up, and he does make it clear he's going to be taking Orwyn. He's going to send a letter, and they're going to be writing Orwyn and the others and taking them to the capital.
I did say I was going to turn him in here, and he could possibly get out
Yeah,
here.
it'll take a while. He'll need to prepare everything. They don't have a lot of guards here, and we're kind of we're kind of rolling through things. There's not the guards here aren't necessarily very noteworthy. You've got 8 kinds of evidence. You have Marita, who's happy to confirm to them these travelers heard me and my son panicking, and they saved me from these bandits.
And
It's all true,
all of it's true. It's just not all.
but as you all
All true.
you all experience a nice long rest,
Yes.
going through, restoring your spell slots at long last. Chloe, I know you've been waiting on that.
I mean, I'm not worried about long rests. I
I didn't mind Mr.
You also
Okay.
regain half of your expended hit dice.
Oh,
I regain no hit dice.
So just one then?
Does it rolls
It-
down,
it's-
right?
one out of 3s. Yeah.
The general rule of 5th edition: divide by 2, round down, minimum 1.
So one.
And that minimum 1 is also a sometimes for like fire resistance. You take 1 point of fire damage, and you're resistant. You take no points of fire damage. But that's just how we play it. There's other ways to play it. Over the course, you're passing along the dead bandits as well. You saved what you could. Are we keeping the lizard as well? Throwing it, having it a little bit off the side of the barn. It's a piece of game. You're not freaky. Marita doesn't think anything of the lizard. It's a lizard. My husband is hunted. She's not terribly concerned about it. Ollie is very curious and thinks it's really cool.
She can talk to her husband again, kind of, which is a little weird, I think, for everybody.
That's what we are going to talk about, because Sula's been kind of waiting outside. This is after the guards have come by. You've started receiving the rest. kind of standing outside. Silas, you want to be with Sulo?
Yeah, I'm gonna be chilling with Sulo because
Oh,
I want to borrow Silas and Yosef or something before we have like our full long rest.
that's fair.
are you trying to do this before this?
No, after. You can be.
I would like to know who is here. Which player would like to be standing outside of the Tenorman door with Sulo?
I'll do it.
Rest of the party is inside. Marita is working on dinner.
I'll do it. I don't care. I'm low-key freaking out anyway. I'm journaling. Are you good?
One. Just one.
Just one?
Steps up onto his patio. Dunk, dunk, dunk. This undead figure, clad in oversized but now clean clothes, hood pulled up to obscure part of his face. Marita on the inside. It's him, isn't it? Is he? You're outside with him, so she's kind of looking to his meanie, looking to the rest of the party. Should I get Ollie?
You may want to see him first, but
He seems more normal, but he's still
yeah,
not fully living.
go say hello. Go say hello.
Takes a few steps. She takes a few steps towards the door, opens the door, and though his head is bowed low, he raises his hands up, and you just hear,
My morning light.
he reaches down, and he pulls from one of the pockets of the new pants you pulled up this that you would grab from the Hobgoblin encampment. Just this small, what looks to be a cheap little, relatively inexpensive silver ring with a small topaz gem. Takes it, tries to say something, it's not fully coming out, and places it in the palm of her hand.
Story before dinner.
Speak the words, the sentences not fully forming. She kind of nods, kind of looks to the rest of the party, same sort of this question. Can I expose my son to, like, kind of pleading eyes, can I expose my son to this? Is this a bad idea?
He's wanted nothing, I think, more than to come back here.
Yeah.
Ollie, we'll have a story before supper. Silas, would you fetch the book from the room, please? Ollie comes out. Pa's home. We don't normally have guests for story time. Would you all pick a story?
At this point, I would think Silas is back, and I think.
Was that out of character? Oh.
I have a favorite story.
Oh.
If you know the story, the tale. Don't get mad, guys. Out of character. Do you know the story of the Guardians of the Silver Dawn?
Oh my god.
Fight her! I knew
Fight
it!
me! I'm gonna talk about my moms.
I was just gonna say Jeswin.
No, I was gonna hand you the book
Okay.
and let you pick.
Okay.
They're famous heroes.
you have a-
They would be a bedtime story.
If you don't give me any more than that, I know what I'll pick. Or if
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
a specific story you want.
No, I'm gonna leave it general for now.
Okay.
I knew
What?
with you.
Sulo, his hands. Now, did you give him gloves?
Yeah.
Kind of scoops up gingerly, and sits in that big chair in their sunroom, just in that front door, the door to, just to the side of the front. Goes and sits down with them, kind of beckoning that you all kind of can come in and be here for this, or if you wanted to step away, that's also, of course, allowed. Ollie starts. as the family takes turns as the story begins. There once were heroes who traveled along a trail far away in the Coin Rock Coast. They faced dragons, bugbears, and all manner of beasties before returning home. There was a dwarven bard. She was an incredible performer, and her magic knew no bounds. Marita continues. They also had found a powerful knight who would one day go on to rule a lovely little barony. As Marita continues along, going towards Sulo, his voice hoarse, struggling, he begins to try. Speak the words. He speaks of Grandrum, of Jeswin, of these two heroes from the Dwarven lands who had come to protect to save her grandchild, to save Jeswin's grandchild from a vile sickness, and how all of these heroes came together. Of course, we could not forget two other notable individuals that we may want to mention here. You know what? Maybe a third. I'll decide if we're going to do a third. Kulasino Stormsday. A rogue who found all he found within him was the power to steal hearts across the land.
Friendship was the real journey.
As he turns the page, you do see this depiction of a human man riding a dragon with what looks to be a bull-faced, like a minotaur perhaps, riding behind him as they go across a starry night sky. As they continue, Ollie starts talking about Odie starts talking about how they fought against the evil elves, the Joyatil. Marita continues telling them how they fought the great black dragon. And Sulo continues. And then they turned the kingdom to a land of peace. Begins to tell the story of the Guardians and how they once faced off against the great Minshaman hero Genji, and in doing so, freed the Scuffle, and eventually, Else itself. Sulo kind of smiles, and as the story continues, his voice more and more clear. He's sitting here as the sun is setting with his children. Odie constantly smiling and exciting and interjecting. They talk about Cavril and how he had the biggest sword in the whole wide world. This excited child sitting here. Marita's attention is turned. Her hand clasped over Sulo's as she hears the whistling of the tea kettle in the other room. And as the sun sets here on the Tenorman farm, like a whisper, Sulo begins to fade. Whatever magics bound him here, compelled him to wander from the capital all the way to Walnut Hill, defying the necromancy and the compulsive magic, appear to the negative energy that bound his spirit here appear to have been released. And after one last story, Marita and Odie are here, just with the Kappleberry Caravan. Jake, don't look at me like that.
How could you? No! He had an arc, he had a story.
Yeah, and his arc's complete now. That's how arcs work. They come to an end.
Oh my god. It's not only you.
It doesn't seem... Odie doesn't panic. He keeps reading the story. Marita kind of looks to the rest of you, a bit of confusion. Is there panic in the party? Or are you more level about this? And she keeps reading and takes a little bit. She kind of gestures, towards the door for you guys.
Yeah.
Take some time. Dinner's a bit cold on this evening. But Odie is put to bed with promises of future stories on the horizon. Sulo has moved on. It appears that Marita has gotten the closure that she most certainly deserved. You do experience the benefits of a long rest.
Oh my
don't.
Rush that.
Okay, but like,
Oh. Huh?
I'm sorry.
No, I was just
Oh.
This now
patting
exists
myself
forever.
on the back.
No.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
So I guess you got that child you wanted. Now you have Audie. You kind of adopted
You
him.
cannot
at this
adopt a
point.
kid.
We're
You
too
can't even say
early.
his name right.
We're
Odie.
too
Yeah.
we're too early in the campaign
Odie.
to adopt
Okay.
kids.
We're not.
We don't have a
high
castle,
We don't have
so
enough
just
I
bring
can
them
never
in.
say anything.
Yet. In the morning, do they have a family? I don't want to say gravesite that we could take.
She's already had. She's been mourning for a while. There's no body. There's ash.
We plan to be in town a while, right?
Empty container or something.
Yeah, if you'd like to, if someone would like to spend some time in the morning, you can prep clay. If you want to build something out of stone, it's a little bit hard. If you want to try to make an impromptu, it would take a fair amount of time to make an urn. But if you want to go into town and purchase something, some sort of container, if you want to do that, that's absolutely something you can do. You don't have an immediate requirement to get to rush. Marita is a strong woman, and she certainly is handling it as well as one could possibly expect of her.
Instead
I'm about
of
to
a
spend
long,
some money.
Okay.
instead of a long rest, can Silas paint through the night?
Yeah.
Skipping a long rest. Just a small scene of a mother and a child with a storybook in hand next to a fire.
You want to paint the hearth and the. Are you painting a sunrise or a sunset?
It's a sunset in the background, a hearth in the family, and where the fire is, just taking a bit of, this is disgusting, Sulo's ashes, sprinkling a little of the ashes on the fire.
Sure.
Just
That's
a quick
not.
memory.
That's not. There are dwarves who you grew up in dwarven culture. There are dwarves who use cremation, and so casting that into the flame isn't. You're not doing something as a disrespectful thing, and she doesn't seem that her thought goes to what do I do with my husband's ashes. It's not where her mind is. It's how do I make sure Odie is safe. Okay. Just pulling something up. All right. What else are we doing today?
If we're taking a little bit of downtime.
Would you like, so you don't have to go back. The bullet may or may not be there. What are we doing today? You can take a day of downtime if you'd like.
I'm gonna keep practicing on that pan flute.
Taking a longer look at the black onyx gem, and also if you're letting her look at the pan flute.
Sure.
Got some information for you.
Yeah.
I need an Arcana check, and I'll tell you for the pan flute it's much easier. But so I'm not making you roll for the pan flute.
Okay.
What I am making you roll for is that gem. I'll tell you it's pretty high.
Right. I was hoping to stumble into something accidentally, so. Oh, what is that? Oh, dang it. I thought that was a different number, so it's a 16. Not high enough.
What I can tell you, this gem can be used in one of two ways.
Mm-hmm.
It is a reagent that can be used for a spell that would require it.
Yeah.
It's also it's already however, looking at it closely, it appears that there's already magic imbued into it. It probably cast a specific powerful spell.
Yeah, you know what I was attempting to do.
Identify it?
No.
Find
Tip an
out how to
hour with
break
an
it.
item.
Attune to it.
Oh, you were attempting it, trying to attune with it.
Yeah.
Does not appear to be an
Appears
attunement
an
item.
Because I've accidentally attuned to plenty of things. in the
Reasonable.
past.
How are you doing the same thing with the pan flute?
Yeah.
You realize that you fail to attune to this item. However, what I can tell you is that this item, it has this item, it appears that attuning it gives it additional properties, but it requires attunement by a bard.
Boo.
I can actually let you know what it does in both cases, if that's okay. And you don't need to write every word of this down
It's
because
good to be in stories.
Well, bard in the party.
Bards aren't heroes.
Gotta sell it.
We just listened to a story where the bard was a hero.
A, not D.
I excluded someone from the story. I know
You
that.
excluded 4 people.
I
5 people.
yes, but also there's only so much I can do on. One.
Yeah.
I excluded you for a reason.
I
It's
know.
okay.
I figured.
The
There's only slightly offended.
let me where'd it go? The pan flute, or rather the companion's pan flute, as it's called, has 2 forms. Well attuned to a bard, it is a +1 spellcasting focus.
You monster.
You chose not to play bard.
I wasn't allowed to play
It
bard.
additionally, it has okay. We'll talk about that on the footnotes. Additionally, anyone can use this once per long rest to cast Healing Word. Additionally, give some more spells if you're attuned to it, but you're not attuned to it, so you're not quite sure what those spells are.
As Mimi throws herself into a fire.
It is not an instrument of the bards, in case you're curious.
I know. As Mimi throws herself into a fire.
Oh, hello, I am Blizzmeanie the Bard. Bard wizard be a blizzard.
Yes.
It needs to be a blizzard.
That would be a
No, Blizzard.
crazy multi-class.
You need better stats than his meanies got, that's for sure.
Literally anything would be better than as Mimi.
Okay,
Don't you have standard
So-
Ray?
Yeah.
you're good. We'll fill you in on what the item does later. For now, it doesn't. The only thing that matters is it is a once per long rest cast of Healing Word. That's quite strong, I'll admit.
Sell for anyone.
Who wants to hold on to it?
It's targeted. Him using it kind of randomly. I let
I
him
don't
just
do
target.
much. I'll take it. That was a joke.
It's a bonus action to cast Healing Word, just as a reminder for everybody.
I have a lot of bonus
I'll
actions.
take it.
Take
Don't
it?
have any.
Yeah.
All right.
Sure. As a reminder, this does not break the multiple spells per rule, which means you can, if you use this item, first off, it has to be in your hand, but you can only, if you cast another spell, it has to have a casting time of 1 action and must be a cantrip.
Yep.
So normal rules apply. It's basically just a free spell slot for a very specific spell. All of my friends are mad at me because because Sulo is gone.
You killed our
forgot about
friend.
that.
You killed another friend.
I
Is that
didn't-
why you slotted in Yosef to replace him?
As another person for you to kill off?
No, exactly. Yosef gets in an accident with
No, I
horses.
don't want to die. I don't.
We're hiring you. Don't you want a job?
Honest work, right? You can drive a cart,
You can drive a car,
2
right?
horses.
We use the word honest loosely.
No,
Yeah.
we don't.
I've never lied in my entire life.
You
Oh,
just
That's a lie.
No.
Straight up.
You is meanie.
Okay.
I've journaled about you all.
So I want to know, and so I want to kind of plan out what are we doing next? What's our next step here for the Kappleberry Caravan?
we just had a day.
I think you should just take the day for downtime.
On the way to Elves, let's go.
Do you want to spend some time looking over the materials that you have there from the Cauldron?
Yes.
I will, taking a full. So give me another Alchemist check.
Not with disadvantage this time.
Yeah, no one should have exhaustion.
18.
I have
18.
exhaustion.
18 is fine because you're actually taking a couple hours looking this over. This is a batch for creating vials of acid. The materials, in case you're curious, the plant is a form of Apexian citrus. It is parts of various fruit-bearing plants from the Isle of Apexia. Most of this is complete, although you do need some very common reagents, which you could probably even get here in Walnut Hill. If you'd like to do so, you'll need to spend 25 gold pieces, which will finish making 4 charges.
Oh, yes.
There are 4 vials of acid. That will take your entire day if you're doing that, however. Is that okay?
That's fine with me. If the rest of the
We
party
cool? Are we doing a full day of downtime? Is that
Do
okay?
you have the gold for that?
I think that we should just do one day.
I do not.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you wanted to take a few days, you can.
I mean,
I'm just trying to get an answer on
We
that
just had
one.
a pretty rough day yesterday. That was a long showing
Okay.
of Walnut Hill.
Spending some time here answering questions with the guards, helping where you can, watching as apparently Bowles has been sneaking booze to some of the local kids and pawning it off for some coin. Like older teenagers, but Bowles is not good. Bowles is a drunk you found underground.
We could have adopted Bowles.
Bowles is not child. Bowles is man.
Gwendolyn is gonna go to Elle because she does not have the gold for this and be like, look.
You also have some stuff to sell that's
I
just like
also haven't distributed anything.
Am I a coin purse too?
If you'd like, what
Are
we
you
can do
gonna
is
say yes?
so Victoria.
I have the most money right now.
So Victoria doesn't have to do all the math right now. We can do some. We can do some of the loot divvying of just like this is a piece of art worth X gold. You found that picture that's worth a couple of gold.
Everybody gets 2 gold.
I don't want any gold.
Give it to
That makes it worse.
give it to the wizard or to the.
I give my gold back to you. Yeah.
Or we
What I was
You need money.
Guys-
Here, take some.
All right,
Right.
guys.
Take
My
one.
point was we can figure out the specifics of the
Yeah.
coinage later.
Yeah.
Are you close to 25?
I'm at 13.
You're at 13.
Take my gold.
Here's my 2 gold.
Yeah.
And here's a platinum piece.
I have
Cool.
14 gold. She can have it.
We'll
Yeah.
figure out these specific numbers off camera.
People will give you money.
And we'll get you to 25, and the rest of that will be divvied up between the rest of the party with that stuff.
Okay.
We'll update the coinage and stuff. Additionally, over this, the next, if you don't mind, next couple of days. Is that reasonable?
Yes, as
Well,
long as I
something
keep
going on?
reading the spell book.
Absolutely. Reading over that spell book, that's totally fine. I can give this. You want a little bit of an overview of that spell book here over the next few days? If you're willing to devote a few days, there's no fail state. But if you want to roll an Arcana check, you can shorten it and do some more stuff.
I want to try to shorten it so I can try to learn something.
Oh yeah.
So I can try to shorten it.
It's cocked.
Dang it. I wanted the...
Sorry.
Dang it. 19.
19. That's gonna be good enough for this. All but one spell is revealed. Do you want me to just list them real quick for you?
Yeah.
And you don't have to write them as fast as I'm reading them because we can just write those down later. Charm person, protection from good and evil. Actually, it's evil and good. Magic missile, mage armor, expeditious retreat. There is one more spell which you do not recognize and have a hard time interpreting. You'll need to look at that later. Additionally, there are 2 more spells that are not. You don't understand how you could possibly transcribe them. These are corresponding with those studies from the serpent and appear to be him trying to reverse engineer the magic the Iron Cobra was giving him. These spells are Scorching Ray and Fireball. However, you don't think that you'd be able to transcribe these at the moment. Because those are, his witch spells are noted here, but they're not actually, he's not using the spellbook for them.
Does that include the spell scrolls we found?
No, the spell scrolls, I can just tell you, 3 Speak with Dead, 1 Ray of Enfeeblement, and 1 Bestow Curse.
What's on the wizard spell list?
Bestow all 3, I think, are on the wizard spell list.
Wait, we have a speak with Dead.
Yeah.
Is it too late to go back to the last down?
You would have had, during the downtime is where you would have figured that out. You can check if you want to pull up the rules for Speak with Dead. I think Speak with Dead is not, I think it's quite a bit of time that you're able to do that.
Yeah, and we can use scrolls of a higher level than we
You
are.
can use scrolls that are on your spell list.
So Speak with Dead, Bestow Curse, and then 1 what?
Ray of Enfeeblement.
Ah, thank
Raven Feeblement.
It's a good spell.
Yeah.
You're a good spell.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So sweet.
Cool, cool.
Okay. Silas, Thorn, you've been awful quiet during this bit of downtime. Was there something in particular you'd like? If you're not certain, we of course can take your answer next week.
I am going to try to find the bottom of this dwarven whiskey.
You look really hard over the next few days.
Sweet.
You're not doing so. Are you doing so somewhere private, like the Tennerman Farm, or are you trying to do this in the middle of town?
No, I'm just hanging around the farm.
Marita's happy to bring you all sorts of like food and drink, and just host for someone is a good thing for her to focus on.
Cool.
Are you polite with Marita?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
She's not a town guard.
Oh my god.
That's I realize how that might have sounded. That's what I meant. Are you being like literally mean? Cool. Silas?
It's rained for a few days, and if Silas stops moving, he'll probably have some kind of an emotional breakdown. So he's going to be going through house to house, seeing what carpentry tools he can use to like repair houses and not worry about it.
You want to go? Okay. Would you like to spend the next couple of days just doing a little bit of labor around town? Are
Yeah.
you accepting payment when people offer it?
I would, but any payment I get, I'm leaving on their like windowsill as I walk away.
You want to let you know the context of how much money we're talking about?
Yeah,
It's probably about 4 gold in total.
I'll leave it.
You're doing
They
some
don't have
major
to know
work.
helping.
Okay, great. You spend. There are several points where people are walking. Party members are walking through town, and they see Silas having removed a beam from the corner of a building, holding up the corner while people bring in the new materials, putting them down, but also doing a lot more of the fine carpentry work as well. You're quite talented at what you're doing. All right, moving along. Elle, do you have anything you wanted to add to all of this?
Silas is busy, so I will wait on my thing for him.
While she's doing that, how long ago was Oswald's death?
Oswald's death. Reminder, you don't have Oswald's body.
No.
Oswald's death was around a week ago.
This is not from Silas's mouth. This is from Jake's mouth. Speak with dead. Corpse has to be less than 10 days old. If y'all are willing to defile a grave without Silas finding out, y'all can do whatever you want.
Oh my gosh.
How do we get there fast?
We have horses, and Silas is
It
busy
is.
doing carpentry.
I will say, I'm not. We are not running a pre-written module. That is within the powers you have. If you'd like to go defile, as he mentioned, defile a grave.
Silas will never find out if you go in the middle of the night.
I'm not defiling a grave. I'm asking Holdo.
I need to know very seriously if the party is considering returning to Coppersback.
Silas is busy with carpentry. What?
Nothing stands between a scholar and their knowledge.
Ooh. I'm gonna go get a shovel.
Back
Okay.
to Coppersbeck, I guess. That's what it sounds like.
I just came up with a thing to do, and now I have a different thing to do.
Guess what bridge we have to cross again?
All of them?
Silas is emotions.
So I'm always supposed to play the devil's advocate
Yeah.
because I am Asmodeus.
The devil.
I am the devil. So things you have. So you do have an option of heading back. You have access to this scroll. You need to get there in time. You'll be cutting it close. You'll probably want someone to take it. You'd actually go. Cool. The whole party's going to take the caravan going slowly. If you could buy a horse, it'd be much more convenient. And someone's going to hard ride up.
Do you propose this idea? Like, Ismini, do you propose this idea?
I will mention the one thing you do know is that the serpent was used to observe Orwyn. You have now slain that serpent. If you are to head back, there is a very real possibility you're here to be aware of. The trail will go cold.
Yeah.
However, both of these paths have very real rewards behind them.
We're already. Here's my suggestion.
You're most of the way to Eltz.
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
How long? It was a day and a half back there? Like, the travel? Between Coppersback and...
Ish. Going at a decent pace, unmolested on the roads.
It's on my smell list, right? Speak with Dead?
I mean,
We have the scroll.
is it on the wizard spell list?
Yeah.
Have we
sure?
made sure of that?
I haven't.
We
made
have-
sure
I
that
don't think it is.
I don't think it is either.
Okay, then if it isn't, I rescind all offers and I have my other thing
I
was going to
don't
do.
think Speak with Dead specifically is.
Unless it got added in Tasha's.
Yeah.
Well, the thing I'm going to check is if it is on Win-Wins.
I'll check Tasha's.
Necromancy. Speak with Dead doesn't have the class on it right here, though.
It's not on Gwendolyn, so I can tell you that much.
I can't cast spells. I don't know what a spell is.
500 internal server error is not the answer I was looking for.
No, hang on. You just find it.
But as the party continues their contemplations, spending the time here. Oh, perfect. Just loaded up. Speak with Dead is on three lists: Bard, Cleric, and Wizard.
All right. That's why it's not listed in Tasha's.
I don't think I like that a bard can cast Speak with Dead, but it makes sense.
It makes
I
makes the
did
most
it.
sense.
Yeah, it's not in.
It's a 3rd level spell.
Yeah, I'm looking at the 3rd level list for Wizard.
Cool.
Then.
Yeah,
I mean,
at some point.
you have to go through Xanathar's.
Yeah,
There's like to find a full spell list. It's like 5 books. It's
Yeah.
awful.
If you ask, I'll go do it. During downtime, day and a half back there, day and a half back. I can take a horse. I won't like it, but I'll do it.
Yeah, but I can also cast. Okay, I take 2 hours and 50 gold. I can cast Expeditious Retreat on myself 6 times.
I can also cast that. Not.
I can run
Like
like
60
the wind
gold?
for an hour. 50.
Horses move at 60 by default.
Expeditious Retreat. You
Oh,
can
it's a
cast it
self?
yourself
Yeah. I just wonder where you get the gold component.
because I have to learn it.
Oh. Okay. I won't
mean-
do it then. If you don't ask. If you want to do it yourself.
I mean, no, I'm just thinking I wouldn't have learned it. I wouldn't learn it otherwise.
I should mention, you could have handed her your spell book. I don't think either of you have ever thought about that.
You have a spell book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like a half wizard.
Yeah.
I did.
Remember that thing that I smacked?
If
in, like,
you're both
session one?
choose to,
That was
you
a
can
journal. Just a journal.
you can encode your spells using the same
They're
paradigm
separate books.
and use each other's spell books.
Wait, is that it?
Yes, same way a wizard can have multiple spell books. Granted, your spells are going to she only has first level spells. So that's going to be the case for a while.
Yeah.
It's really more you can use her spell book than the reverse.
I mean, I want to cast. No, I guess. Want to cast Control of the Dead? Get some little bells?
No, cantrips are not.
Cantrips don't count?
Yeah.
Dang.
I'll throw my vote in because it seems like we're probably going to come to a vote.
Yeah. I mean,
I vote we follow the breadcrumbs.
breadcrumbs, not
The
go back. Because, I mean,
Snake, the iron cobra,
Yeah.
breadcrumbs.
because if we go back to Oswald, it's not even that
I
Oswald
wouldn't-
may have seen something.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
I would
know.
not do it on my own. I would only do it if you specifically needed someone to go.
You know that
I have something
somewhere
else.
there is some sort of dark arcanist who is now being opposed by a collection of masked criminals, but you don't have a confirmed location. You know somewhere that recently they've been doing work at Mount Sharon. That's not correct.
Shannon.
Shannon. It's like, that sounds really wrong. Sharon! Mount Shannon. You also know that it appears that the actual location where Zarathal is somewhere in Western Elts in the capital. That could change.
Yeah.
You know that that Sulo's name is to Zarathal is Subject 11.
I think we're too low level to send one person away.
Yeah.
I
That's the
think
easy way to
A
die.
little meta, but yeah.
We're pretty weak.
we're pretty weak in general.
You're much more powerful than the average person.
Yeah.
Right. But any one of us and a couple bandits, it's not a very good combo.
I'll be
Not good
honest.
odds.
It was my idea, but like I'm super against it.
Oh, yeah.
If Silas finds out, it's not an answer. So like, it was my idea. I want you to do it. Fuck no, don't do it.
Yeah. You know, I get it.
Oh God. You could totally do it. Can I go back to playing some kind of chaotic neutral?
Oh my gosh. All
I
right.
miss it.
Wait, I have a thing. If we're not going to do this, do have something I want to do with my downtime. I'm not going
Okay.
to sit on my hands.
You're gonna fight the bullet by yourself.
Yes.
We're gonna spend an hour of that.
1v1.
No, I wanted to like go back and scope out to see like when is it sleeping, when is it awake, is it always there?
Over those few days,
I know that
there are
it
times where it
responds to
appears
noise.
and times where it's gone. It appears that what it's doing is it's heading out of the similar exit where it appears that bowls had been arriving and returning in. Sometimes a little bit damage in the floor. It appears that this thing can burrow through stone. It can also eat through metal bars, as you saw.
Does it have like a schedule? And
It doesn't appear to have a schedule. It looks like this is it does look like it's an unintelligent beast who's found this cozy, cool floor and is napping here sometimes.
do I understand like that it like tends to respond to noise or sound?
Oh, observing it over those couple of days, it does. You're not certain if it's blind, but it notices if you throw a pebble across and pebble touches the ground, it attacks where that is. It can feel things that are nearby. It has a sort of tremor sense, if you will.
I'm going to learn Magic Missile.
Oh, I could know how I could get it.
The oils exist here. Make sure you spend all the right amount of stuff.
I won't do it by myself, but I have a sort of plan to do the.
So here's
thing
my
by
question: Is the plan to go fight the bullet? I would like to know that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a plan.
I'm voting you.
Excellent. Then next week on Stories to D4, I think we're going to be fighting a bullet.
Cool.
Can we just go to L?
Oh no! Well, thank you guys so much for joining, and we hope we'll see you next week, as well as this Sunday for Footnotes, and this Halloween for our spooky little one-shot. Bye, y'all. Stay safe and have a wonderful weekend.